the
Our famous
taco
fiesta. Soup. Yeah, and it was so good during the football games.
We have the ingredients ready to go, but it's got to be a certain temperature for us to do it.
We did it Saturday night during the late night game, or not the late night games, but the primetime games during Georgia, Texas. Little taco soup, fantastic.
Chili for the Rams tonight.
I love a chili. I love just a basic tomato. Sometimes.
Are you going vegetarian chili?
No. I don't really do the vegetarian chili anymore. I think Maddie's actually doing the chili tonight.
What meat does she use?
Just ground beef.
Ground beef? Okay.
Yeah. Number 10 on the list, cheddar broccoli.
Nope.
Hard pass, thank you.
I've had it.
Yep, not
bad. But
Number 9, I like the next one, potato soup. It's a little much, but...
Me too. I like it like that, too.
Do you like
bacon.
You like it thick, a thick potato soup?
I do. And
do you like chunks of potato in it?
I do like chunks of potato in it.
That's the way my mom used to make it.
I like it thick and creamy. I like to drop some cheese and bacon. Those green onions, I'd leave out the sour cream. Let me ask you, you waited tables for a while. The few weeks I waited tables, probably the only time I ever had the broccoli, the first one there. The
cheddar broccoli.
Yeah, because it was one of the soups of the week or whatever, and I'd just do a quick scoop out and eat a bowl there before I'd start my shift. Never would have ordered that anywhere else, but since I scooped it
I don't know where you can get cheddar broccoli.
At a restaurant, I bet.
A can of Campbell's?
Boy,
Applebee's, maybe?
Probably the supermarket.
Number 8, ramen. I much like chili, I think ramen is totally different than a soup.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, that shows you right there.
That is not soup. I don't know who calls it that.
I love ramen. That's before you throw it in the bowl, right?
No, it's sitting in soup.
Yeah.
Or liquid. I don't guess it's soup.
Boy, they need more broth.
Number 7, chicken dumpling soup. I've never heard of it. I like chicken dumplings, but I've never heard of it as soup.
I have.
I've had that, yes.
So good.
Yes.
Number 6, clam chowder. I'm not a big fan.
I've had it.
I can't remember the last time I've had clam chowder, so I guess I can live my life without it because I can't tell you the last time I've had it.
I mean, if I'm hungry, I'll eat it, but no.
You remember that soup we ate in San Francisco? The place where you could see Alcatraz and it was served in a bread bowl?
Yeah. What kind of soup was that?
I think it was...
Was it beer cheese?
Beer cheese?
I like beer cheese. It's not on this list.
Yeah, beer cheese.
Yeah, that was good.
Because we talked about baby doughs.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Diplomat's got a good beer cheese.
Do they?
Yep.
Yeah.
Number 5 on the list, just plain chicken soup.
No, that does not look great.
Listen, I like chicken soup.
I like that broth.
Yeah, I don't like chicken noodle soup.
Interesting.
But see,
so you don't like the noodles?
But with the rice and the vegetables and stuff, Maggie makes a good homemade chicken soup.
How many we got left on the list?
3. We've got 4 more. That was number 5, chicken soup. Number 4, tomato soup. I'm a big fan too.
Me too.
Love
do you like basil in it?
I like a little basil.
You know what I don't like about tomato soup? It's a little too acidic for me. So, when you swallow it, it kind of burns my throat. Not the heat, but like the acidity of the tomato.
I usually cut mine with a couple of grilled cheeses.
Yeah, the grilled cheese with the tomato soup is as good as the grilled cheese with the chili.
Yeah, if I have tomato soup, I want to dip a grilled cheese in it and just eat it that way.
I don't do grilled cheese and chili. I do peanut butter and chili.
Number 3, French onion. I'm not a big fan.
Hate it. Yeah. How's this number 3?
It's one of those that looks good when they melt that cheese over the top of it, but then when you eat it, you're like, God, this tastes like bathwater.
Yeah, steakhouse up the street that we used to go to all the time. And I had a guy that would go with me, and he would get the French onion every time.
I think I meant dishwater and said bathwater melted. I saw you laugh at me, but I mean, it could taste like bathwater.
Number 2
is... Imagine someone bathing in French onion soup.
If you're
now.
filthy, it tastes like bathwater.
As a kid, I wasn't a fan of number 2. I like it now if it's homemade and done well.
Cut that out.
The beef stew.
Love beef stew, especially if it's homemade. You're right.
I like big chunks of beef in it, though, like that.
Me too.
I don't want you to skimp on the beef.
Yeah, and I like the carrots cut like that, too.
It's almost a little watery pot roast is way. A little juicier pot roast.
A few times I like carrots is in a beef stew.
Because you know me, if it doesn't have meat in it, it's just an appetizer at that point. It's not a meal. That makes it a meal right there when you put some beef in it.
Beef stew is good. What's number 1?
Number 1, it just...
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
And we're back to the rabbit hole in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Last time we were here, Alabama had its best win under Kalen DeBoer when they beat Georgia the next day after this rabbit hole appearance. Will they do it again against Missouri? As we come into town, I will tell you, in pure honesty, buzz and atmosphere in town about 98% less than last time we were in town.
Yeah, and I think it would be much different. I was talking to somebody earlier. If Alabama would have obviously beaten Tennessee, and if you had a healthy Brady Cook and you had a healthy Nate Noel, and maybe Missouri had looked a little better than they have this year. Yeah, I don't know how much buzz there is. It is homecoming, though, and I'm sure Alabama fans will find a way to get down here and enjoy some Bud Light.
Does homecoming, is it a big deal in college? Is homecoming a big deal in college?
Yeah, well, first of all,
it is for EG. It is not for future intern. Oh, it is? Okay, Chloe says yes. All right.
I never thought it was a big deal in school.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
you're different.
First of all, you were not a sorority girl.
That's true.
Right?
No, I was not a sorority.
Anatomically speaking, you were not a sorority
I
girl.
hung out with sorority girls. I was a fraternity guy.
Of course, yeah.
But, typically.
MI.
The old.
Hey, we got some Mizzou fans. What's up, fellas?
M-I-Z. I got to do M-I-Z.
M-I-Z. You did M-I-Z.
The old stereotypical team was the team you would run off the field for homecoming. I don't even think people look at that now, right? You lay the schedule out, and then the powers that be, whoever that is that decides when we're doing homecoming, they really don't care who the opponent is.
I stopped by to see my niece. She's in a sorority over here, and they had their big sign out front, ready to go this morning. That's the cool part of homecoming to me, walking down sorority row and getting to see all the signage that is out there. They make these homecoming signs. I don't know what they're made of. I didn't get close to it, but it looks like it's, if we were in Pasadena, I would swear it was made of roses. So I would assume they're not made of roses here.
No.
Moms, that's what it was made of.
Oh, is it really moms? So they do actual flowers? They don't just do the
Let's say it out loud. Okay.
bumps.
Yeah.
Did you see a float that said
Pomps?
Like Kalen the door? Like,
No.
there's the door, Kalen.
God,
No.
yeah, don't be those
I'm just asking.
I know. Surely
where
not
was
those
that?
fans.
No, I was asking if there's a float like that.
No. It was like new. My niece's was new era, same standard, and it had 4 on there. It had Milrow on there, and it had people walking from the Saban era into the DeBoer era, almost like a very cult-like passage from one to the other.
Did it have Milrow throwing a pick?
Actually, it was a headless Milrow. I don't know what that meant, but
Well, they weren't there
It
yet.
was just like they probably are not finished with it.
Well, I
yet.
mean, he's not on the availability report, so surely he's still got his head, right?
Yeah. I just, it was the number 4 jersey. His arm was cocked. I sent it out on social media. Go take a look at it.
So those hot rumors have come to a halt, right?
I
About
would hope
Tyson.
so. I mean, again, we discounted it, right, on this show. We're like, you're crazy if you think they're just going to bench Milrow and go to Ty Simpson.
Yeah, that's what we did.
We did. Did we not?
Oh, I know I did. Yeah, we did.
Well, why didn't you say it so sarcastically?
I was just saying we did.
Oh.
Where are you getting the sarcasm?
Did you hear sarcasm? Yeah, that's
Oh, everything I say is sarcastic.
Yes, I heard a little
Show
sarcasm.
8:15, we're at the rabbit hole, but really this is just a lead up to the live Bama and Bourbon later today. That's not sarcastic. It's a lead up later today. Bama and Bourbon, 3:30. Aaron Suttles and Lance will be here. Little Q&A going on.
Yeah. I don't know exactly how it's going to unfold. I do know that we will do our first ever live Bama and Bourbon, so it's going to be exciting. 3:30. We've got a bourbon that we've never tried before, so if you want to come out, drink some bourbon with us, we will be at the rabbit hole. It's going to be one of those marathon days.
This is, I know how our show works sometimes, that we are the great crossroad of over prepared for some things, and then some things we're fly by the seat of our pants.
Which are the more fun to me?
When you say we're trying a new bourbon, is that the one that was dropped off yesterday, or did you leave that one in Birmingham and we're going to try a new bourbon whatever we buy here?
No, I brought them.
Okay.
I saw Lance with his arms full leaving yesterday. Yeah. I was like, okay, he planned ahead.
Because I thought to myself, right when I got on 459, I was like, God, probably should have called Brown to see if I should have swung by and picked anything up.
Now, I was going to reach out to Mark. We shake Mark down, Mark Welch here, Adams. We ask way too many favors, and I was going to say, hey, by the way, we'll do this Bama and Bourbon. Is there any way you can talk to the owners of the Rabbit Hole about giving us a really, really good premier bourbon? But I didn't do it. We just brought the bourbon. And
yeah,
okay. I like that you were going to put premier in there.
So this afternoon, it's Bama and Bourbon live at 3:30 when we're done here, and it's BYOB, bring your own bourbon.
Yeah, and if you don't know what that's, there's probably some people watching and listening that don't know anything about Bama and Bourbon. It's pretty simple concept. We have a different bourbon that we've never really tasted before. We share our thoughts on the bourbon as we talk about Alabama football. last week the loss against Tennessee, and then preview this week against Missouri. And Aaron, working for Yale, Alabama, the collective there, he's got a lot of insight. He's got a lot of inside information. So it's a really fun podcast that we do each and every week. And a lot of people had an idea as far as like viewers and listeners for us to do it live at some point. So we decided today is the day.
We'll do it live. Today's the day, and it's at 3:30 right here at the Rabbit Hole, right when we're done on this very stage when we're through with the next round today. That's being brought to you by a couple of great folks, including Woodhouse Day Spa. Everyone's starting to think about the holidays not too far away. We're flipping next week to November, and then that's 1 month away from the Christmas season. How about Woodhouse as that stocking stuffer?
Yeah, and you could even do it this weekend. Just say you want to hang out all day watching football with your friends. Send the wife or girlfriend to the Woodhouse Day Spa. She's going to absolutely love it. She can choose from a menu of over 70 options, including massages, body treatment, skincare, waxing, nail services. Woodhouse Day Spa, voted America's best day spa since 2009. Order that special person gift online 24/7. Birmingham.woodhousespas.com. Gift card, simple solution. Buy them 24/7 or just stop by the Woodhouse Day Spa located at the Summit Shopping Centers. Go see Stuart and that fine staff, and make sure you tell them the next round set you.
And also by our friends with the Magic City Classic, parade days, party days, everything ready to go for the 2:30 kick tomorrow at Legion Field.
Yeah, MagicCityClassic.com is where you can get tickets. They still have reserve seat for $35, general admission for $25. Enjoy the game. Do not miss halftime. I mean, that is the show right there. The marching maroon and white and the Alabama State Band as well. The marching Hornets. So you can see all of that there at Magic City Classic, the 83rd edition, #1 HBCU game in America. It is tomorrow at Legion Field. Tickets online at MagicCityClassic.com. That is MagicCityClassic.com.
Thank you to Tyler and Forrester, who are manning the command center back in Birmingham at our Birmingham studios. They've got their arms around everything. Tim Melton back there helping out early on today, too. We appreciate Melton so much for being in and taking care of that. EG's handling everything social media-wise here on location at Next Round Live. She's here with us at the Rabbit Hole, Taylor Korn, with a day off as she marries yet another woman off.
Not me.
It's another marriage weekend for little T.
Be prepared, man. That age, it's non-stop.
I was thinking about it. I was like, I feel like Little T's at a wedding every other weekend.
Yep.
He's at either at an SEC stadium or a wedding.
So Little T's what, 23, 24? It's almost like Little House on the Prairie. They're getting married earlier and earlier. Like our group.
That's not true now. They're getting married later and later.
Are they?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. EG was at a wedding this weekend for a couple of 21-year-olds. I think Taylor's friends are 23.
Yeah.
Like, it was like my friend group, it was between 25 and 30.
Yeah. I mean, I know I waited till late. Maggie was young. Probably deeper discussion on a psychiatric chair somewhere, but she's 10 years younger than me. But I think people used to get married, some right out of high school. And then there was a time in the 80s, early 90s, I feel like it was you found your boyfriend at college or your husband at college, and then you got married right after you graduated. You got engaged your last year.
Some people.
And then now.
And then that first divorce was, I don't know, 10 years after that.
That's right, early 30s.
But I feel like now, as the world changes, I think people wait a little bit longer to get married. Not everybody, obviously. Little T's at another wedding this weekend. And, there's not another woman I know that a football season wedding disrupts more than Little T, though. Some women would be like, the wedding's okay. I've got to convince my husband that this is going to be okay, or my boyfriend is going to be okay. For Little T, this is like nails on a chalkboard for her, that she can't be in Lexington or be here with us today or be ready for another football Saturday.
Well, I think she laid it down. Like, if I'm in the wedding, then I'm kind of obligated to be there. But if I'm not in the wedding, I'm not going to go. I was really shocked the other day. So College Game Day for the first time ever will be in Bloomington.
For a wedding?
No, for Indiana and Washington. And I had a point, Dunaway.
Connor O'Gara.
Yeah,
I knew that.
Connor O'Gara, who joined us this week. We didn't really stop him in his tracks, but for him to get married, like one of the faces of college football, to get married on a college football weekend was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I thought.
Now, I'm assuming he wasn't in the business then. I don't know that to be factual. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, maybe I'm wrong, and maybe he was getting married right out of college.
Yeah, but I'm with Lance, man. I could not imagine a college football season wedding. And it's like Little T's friends do not care.
Yeah. Well, she says that when she watches the games with them. She's like, they'll talk. And
she gets mad.
She hangs on every play, and then they'll turn around. Are we winning? And she's like, hell no, we're not winning. That's why I'm over here grinding my teeth, and you guys are making more drinks.
Our buddy Bo was telling me a story about being in a wedding and all the groomsmen were watching the game. It was a fall wedding.
Yeah.
And the bride had an absolute meltdown and basically undressed her groom in front of everybody saying, this is not going to happen. You guys aren't watching the game.
By the way, sometimes God sends you messages, man. And you got to pay attention to it.
That was after that was the reception, Brown. It wasn't the rehearsal dinner.
There's a thing called an annulment, which I think means it's like it never happened, right? If you get an annulment, is it like you never were married?
In the Catholic Church, I think that's correct.
Yeah.
I'm getting a nod from a little bit of our audience.
I think my older brother technically got an annulment.
It's 90 days, right? I think.
Maybe he didn't then.
I love it when you start talking about things you're not 100%
Who,
sure.
me?
Yeah. I think if you just get a shot of penicillin.
That cures just about everything.
No need to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
All right.
No, but I'm sure the annulment, I mean, it's right there. You saw The Hangover, and you get married on a blackout drunken weekend in Vegas, and you're able to go to the same establishment and get the annulment the next day.
Yeah, I think there's something of being sound and right mind in the vow, right? You got to.
Well, I think they'll still take your money when you're not, but then
yeah.
you can come back in sound and right mind to get the annulment, and they probably give you a little
It's
break.
like buyer's remorse at that point.
Look who that is.
Yeah, I say
Hey, we'll do the Buffalo Wild Wings pick 3 starting in the next segment. And at the end of the show, we'll give you our picks and update the standings for us as we get ready for week 9 of the college football season. EG having fun with me earlier that I was upset it's already week 9, but it has flown by.
You've been good about not pointing that out.
I have. We'll get into what we saw last night right after Brownie tells us about our friends at Academy Sports. But a reminder, the World Series for those baseball fans out there does start tonight. 7:00 on Fox, Game 1, Yankees-Dodgers in L.A. That's part of our Academy Sports update.
Academy Sports and Outdoors now open in a brand new Birmingham location, Highway 280. The best sports equipment, outdoor gear, apparel, and footwear from all the brands you love. Everyday low prices. Wide selection of trusted brands like Nike, Stanley, Brooks, Carhartt, Blackstone, Yeti, Titleist, Shimano, and more. It's Academy Sports and Outdoors.
I went by Odie's last night in Homewood after the Dogs After Dark Sanford event and couldn't get in the door. It was packed last night. So I walked down to see our friends at Slice. Odie's with a good, fun Thursday night. It's a new location down there. I was craving their chicken fingers for some reason. You can get great food at Odie's today and then live music tonight at that location.
Yeah, every Friday, Saturday, live music at both locations, the original in Crestline, the newest location in Edgewood. The great food that Dunaway mentioned there from Rodney Davis for over 35 years now, award-winning wings, great burgers, incredible sandwiches, like the Diablo sandwich, ice-cold beer buckets full of the Bud Light. Stop in. See Will Haver and that great staff. 2 locations, Homewood right there in Edgewood and Crestline.
And thank you to Bucky McMillan and the Sanford family for having me out for their Dogs After Dark last night. Slam dunk, 3-point shooting contest, and a lot of fun last night at Sanford as they get ready for what they hope is another run to the NCAA tournament. Bucky says hi to everybody here on the show, and he appreciates us so much. It was fun to be on the Sanford campus. Quickly, when it was over,
when are you taking your trip to Springfield, Massachusetts?
Go to the Hall.
The Hall of Fame for basketball.
I don't know. I got my basketball shirt on here because when the frat boys get here later on, I'm going to get them fired up about basketball season. But last night in football, Kyle McCord with 3 pick sixes in the first half in that game. And by the time I made it to the TV, it was already a pit blowout of Syracuse. 3 pick sixes. Tell me about what you saw last night in that game, and then I'm going to take us back to a great moment in SEC history.
Yeah, I mean, first possession, Kyle McCord, who, Syracuse and Fran Brown having a really good first year at 5-1, and McCord was putting up some pretty impressive numbers, but throws a pick 6, third play of the game, at least their third play from of their possession, and 31-0 at the break. And if I would have told you guys that Pittsburgh only has 13 first downs, 217 total yards, Eli Holstein only throws for 108 yards, you're like, damn, it probably went bad for them.
Blowout.
Yeah. We had Pittsburgh at lanceslog.com. It was a laugher, 31-0 at half. And I think what happened, Pat Narduzzi, you brought this up yesterday, they do seem to go up and down, and I think that's just going to be Pittsburgh's program. I think to be able to consistently have great players at that program is going to be difficult. But he is a guy that knows how to coach, and I think he probably sold his team much like Kirby did last week going into the Texas game. Everybody's doubting you guys. Everybody's talking about Syracuse is going to beat you, that this is a house of cards, that we're really not good enough to be undefeated right now. And, boy, they proved the point.
Well, it's going to feel like 1980s all over again next week because Pitt's at SMU, and that is a huge ACC game. I cannot believe that is a huge ACC game, but it is.
Taking us back to Pony Express and Dan Marino?
No, it's like I'm back in the early 80s again.
Yeah.
So Pitt at SMU, this Pitt team, I was disappointed in the game, obviously, when a quarterback throws 3 pick sixes. I wanted to see some more Eli Holstein, and the guy just didn't even have to do anything last night.
You know, they kept comparing like Syracuse all-time players and Pitt all-time players. And to me, I thought Pitt had the better players.
Okay, so your Pitt is
Marino and Tony Dorsett.
Yeah, I mean, that's 1 and 2. Or
Hugh Green.
Hugh Green,
is a Pitt guy.
Larry Fitzgerald has got to be. I would put him
Larry
3.
Fitzgerald.
Would you put him 3 behind Marino and Dorsett?
Oh, I would put him too.
Behind Marino?
Because I think Fitzgerald is a top 3 or 4 wide receiver of all time. And Dorsett was really, really good. So Jim Brown, I mean, if you wanted to stack these, most people probably would say Jim Brown number 1 overall.
Yeah.
You know, and they tried to say Donovan McNabb with Dan Marino. I think McNabb really good, going to 4 consecutive NFC championships, playing in a Super Bowl. Marino much better.
Marino's a better quarterback than
he's
Donovan
in this
McNabb.
conversation. Syracuse, great. But they had another. Was it Ernie Davis? Was the other running back after Jim Brown?
Yep. They had Marvin Harrison.
Dwight Freeney.
Yeah. Sacked an Auburn quarterback after 9/11, I think.
Once or twice.
Tim Green, who ends up, played for the Falcons for a little bit, but was an author, did fiction.
So they've had some great Hall of Fame players at both those programs.
Darrell Revis, see you in Buffer, minds us at Pittsburgh. Revis Island. Yeah.
Pitt gets the win last night. But it had
Aaron Donald, by the way.
I forgot about him.
Forgot about Aaron Donald. Pitt gets the win last night, but it takes me back when the pick 6 situation. It was very different. And I love this when I'm able to tell Taylor and Emily Grace these stories from yesteryear of college football.
Kids, sit down and listen.
Sit down and listen. Let's go back to September of 1994.
Flashback.
LSU is beating Auburn in Jordan-Hare 26-9.
What year is this?
It's 1994.
Okay.
It's 26-9. LSU is beating Auburn on the road.
All you got to do is run the clock out at that point, right?
Yeah. Curly Hallman is the head coach of LSU.
Mm-hmm.
The final total yards in this game, LSU had 407 total yards. Auburn had 165 total yards.
That's a blowout.
Auburn had just 1 first down in the entire second half. They're trailing, Auburn is, 26-9 to LSU as they go to the fourth quarter. For some unknown reason, LSU quarterback Jamie Howard drops back and throws a pass that Ken Albus picks off and runs it back for a touchdown. So it's 26-16. Keep in mind, Auburn only had 1 first down the entire second half. They kick it to Auburn. It's 3 and out. They kick it back to LSU. So what do, Brandon? You going to run the ball?
Oh, you got to run the clock out at that point. I threw an interception. I'm an idiot for calling a pass play. We're going to turn around and we're going to hand it off, right? I'm LSU. I got a good running back. I'm going to hand it off. What do they do?
You know what they did?
What?
They threw it again.
Yeah.
This time it's Fred Smith that picks it off and takes it back for a touchdown. Another pick 6. But don't worry, LSU's up 26-23. It's not a big deal, right?
Right.
Auburn,
It's gotten to be a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, I'm nervous now. Yes.
Auburn kicks it off. LSU, run the ball? Hell no.
No.
We're going to throw another pass.
We're hot now, baby.
What happens? Brian Robinson picks it off and takes it in for a touchdown. It was 26-9 to start the fourth quarter. 3 pick 6 later, it's 30-26 Auburn. Now, LSU has to throw the football to try to win the game.
That's right. What happens now?
Brian Robinson intercepts it. He's on his way for what looks like a 4th pick 6, and he gets peanut punched from behind and fumbles. LSU gets the ball back. What do? They drive, and they look like they're going to win the game. Wide open receiver in the end zone. Jamie Howard throws it into the end zone, and at the last second, Chris Schelling steps in front of him and picks it off. And Auburn secures it with 5 fourth quarter interceptions and no first downs.
As I remember it, a JP game.
Yep.
Yes.
As I remember it. So
Yes.
I remember watching that early JP game and thinking that might be the most astounding win I have ever seen in my life.
The most disgusting coaching job in the history of coaching.
I mean, it was awful by Curly Hall.
I remember I was on 13th Street here in Tuscaloosa. It was when we were booking, me and Tommy Cummings, and he had gone to Jack's next door to get us lunch. And we had 2 phone lines with those carbon copies and those phones just ringing off the hook. And I'm trying to watch that game, but I was right there with you. I was amazed. Why are you throwing the football like you're, and that ultimately got Curly run out.
Oh, yeah. Curly Hallman never recovered from that.
Oh, it's a horrible coaching job.
Because keep in mind, that was Terry Bowden. He had not lost a game at Auburn at the time. So that was going to be a massive upset for LSU.
That's right.
Like, I would imagine LSU probably still covered the game. They had to be a pretty big dog in that game, and they were going to win that game going away, and it was going to be a massive win for Curly Hallman and LSU, and it was going to be Terry Bowden's first loss after the undefeated uncrowned team of 1993. And buddy, you want to talk about giving one away? They gave one away. Jim Fife's greatest moment, though, by the way. If you go back and watch the old Jim Fife call of those interceptions,
unbelievable.
Fantastic.
It's known as the interception game for Auburn fans down there, but to have those offensive yards, that's what I was reminded of last night as I watched Pitt intercept Kyle McCord 3 times in the first half and win that football game last night. I remember, I think Alabama was on the road that weekend. I was working at NBC 13, so I had to go to Auburn because they were on the win streak. Excuse me. I got to go to Auburn. Got to go to Auburn down there, and I was only going to be able to stay for the first half for highlights, and then I was heading back to anchor the 5 o'clock news and had to listen to it on the drive home all the way back, and then had to beg somebody to send me the interceptions because I didn't have those highlights.
Do you remember what happened the next year in Baton Rouge?
That was the
95 game in Baton Rouge where Pat Nix is now the starter, and there's a kid in the stands blowing a whistle.
Oh, that was my game.
Yeah, you went up in the stands and interviewed the kid, didn't you? And they got pissed about it.
The LSU people got pissed about it.
Yeah, because you went up and interviewed the kid with a whistle, but Pat Nix drops back, and you can hear the whistle on the telecast. I think it was an ESPN night game. You can hear the whistle, and he just stops,
in the end zone.
Yeah, stops in the end zone, gets sacked for a safety. And as I remember it, I think they carried Jamie Howard off the field after that game. LSU won that game, and it was like this redemption for Jamie Howard, even though I don't remember him having that good of a game.
I think they carried the kid with the whistle off too.
They probably did.
Yeah.
Hey, Jamie Howard, cup of coffee with the Rams, by the way.
Did he really?
Yeah.
I don't remember that at all. Did he start any
No.
games? Who was your quarterback then?
Tony Banks.
Wow.
That was my good reporting day, Browns, when I would chase down the kid with the whistle in the stands and do a quick interview.
How did you find him? He's probably still blowing the whistle.
Yeah, there's a chance, I could have enhanced some of that story. Dr. B brings us part of the show, enhancing LT's hair, and we'll get to his big Rams win after he tells us about Dr. B.
Yeah, Dr. B, the man, not only helping me out for the last 3 years, also helping Ryan Brown out.
That's right.
Starting to thin out a little bit. Hey, any cosmetic procedures, inquire with our friends at Dr. B. Dr. Beckenstein and that great staff. You can call 205-319-0316. For more than 20 years, women and men have turned to Dr. B for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. He will use his experience, his advanced training, and genetic testing to help his patients fully understand the procedures they are considering. Again, call 205-319-0316. I do that non-invasive treatment 3 times a week, 30 minutes each time on the couch. For more information, t3hair.net.
Love the fact that we're back here at the Rabbit Hole today. Love the fact we're here with our friends at Bud Light and Adams Beverage. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Do we have the Bud Lights flowing over there yet, man?
They got the Louisville. He's got Louisville back out. Who we got? Who's Louisville this week?
Louisville's got another tricky game. It's tonight against BC on the road. Louisville, a solid 7.5 point
Are
favorite.
we all in on the cards
It's
again?
got to be Louisville tonight, right? L's up.
L's up. The Louisville fraternity is back. Did they cover last time they were here? They did not.
It was right on the number. It was against Notre Dame. It was 7, so it just depends on where you got it.
Big loss last time. Big loss last time.
They played the money line. I remember they were hard on Louisville.
Yeah.
So Louisville, BC tonight, but the Bud Light's flowing down here, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Last night, am I right about this? More touchdown passes for Matt Stafford last night than he had all season long. Is that incorrect?
Well, so he had one in the previous 6 games, 1 first half touchdown pass, had 2 last night, ended up with 4. So I think that matched his complete season.
Yeah.
But I mean, this shows you, look, they were handcuffed without Cooper Kupp. Did not realize Puka Nacua was coming back until after the show yesterday. So that was more of a bonus. Puka was actually targeted more than Cooper Kupp. But look, when this offense has both of those guys, it's as good as any offense in football, and especially when Kyron Williams is running the football. So season high 30 points for the Rams. Massive win, because you heard Dan Orlovsky on the show yesterday. Rams lose that game, there's a good chance Cooper Kupp is getting traded. Still could get traded, but I think it's more likely that he doesn't now that the Rams are 3-4 and you start to look at the schedule moving forward. Rams can really get back into what is becoming an interesting NFC West.
What is wild is NFL officials never miss anything you do to the opposing quarterback, ever. Like, I mean, just a graze against a helmet gets called almost all the time by NFL officials. And one of the most obvious face masks you'll ever see, and the official's standing there looking right at it, and the end zone doesn't call it. I mean, that was amazing to me.
We're all watching live, too. You see Darnold's head jerk.
Yeah.
And so it really has to be a face mask. He throws his hands up, and I don't know if you guys noticed this, but Byron Young, number 0, who makes the sack, immediately goes to his head because he's like, oh, my God,
he knew he had it.
Gave a 15-yard. And Like, who knows what happens at that point?
I still don't think you lose the game.
I don't either.
I can't believe they missed the call.
Rams are up 28-20. Minnesota's completely out of timeouts. By the way, the Rams baffled the final play, or bungled the final play, the third down, where Cup goes out of bounds, where they're out of timeouts. Would have burned another 30+ seconds.
It was just his foot, but you can't get that close to the boundary there.
But I thought that they should have gotten that. It would have been 1st and 10 on the 20, 8-point game, so that they still would have had to go 80 yards, no timeouts, and get the 2-point conversion. But that is one of those calls you can't miss.
You can make the plays like LT did last night to get the winners at lanceslock.com. Lanceslock.com. It's its own website and its own social media property, and it's brought to you on the show by our friends at Hemp Hill. You got plays tonight on the World Series or college football?
Yes, we have 2 college football games up. We have the World Series, and we got 1 game in the NBA. 4-0 last night, 9-3 on the week, so we are rolling for you guys. We had Old Dominion. They were up 30-7 at halftime. Again, that game was over at half. Pittsburgh was up 31-0. Jump on board, win with us at lanceslock.com. Again, 4 plays up tonight. 4-0 last night. Always brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill Services. Trust the name. Birmingham has trusted since 1954 for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. Hard to stop a train. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Tell them the Next Round sent you. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
Is this the NBA game you're playing?
That is not the game I'm playing.
Who you like right there?
Oh,
Knicks.
Heavy on the Knicks over Pacers tonight.
What's the number there, Jim?
Pound the Knicks over the Pacers tonight. Knicks won't lose 2 to start the season.
What's the number? Do you know the number?
Oh, I don't know the number. I don't know the
I
lineup.
love that. That is my favorite Dunaway.
I don't know how good Indiana is.
Yeah.
I just know the Knicks will not start 2-0. Not tonight. All right, we'll get into our pick 3, Buffalo Wild Wings pick 3, and talk about the college football games coming up in just a second.
Fuhrman is also next, by the way.
Todd Fuhrman now is going to be next with us.
He has been since last night. But 12:30, Fuhrman going to be with us.
All right, Todd Fuhrman next, and then we'll get to the Buffalo Wild Wings. Pick 3, Todd Fuhrman on the other side of the show here as we continue on. And don't forget, we're here at the Rabbit Hole, and so too is Bama and Bourbon this afternoon at 3:30. You can get Bama and Bourbon on all of our platforms, including covercrimson.com, covercrimson.com. This is the Road Show from the Rabbit Hole in Tuscaloosa, brought to you by our friends at Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy.
Follow the Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
There's only one Champy's world famous fried chicken. Poor boy's tenders, full fried chicken plates, and a little bit of the Mississippi Delta with chicken on a stick and hot tamales. On your way to or from the big game on Highway 119 in Alabaster, stop by Champy's Chicken.
Are you tired of buying your CPAP mask and supplies online only to be disappointed? It's time to visit CPAP Plus, your locally owned and operated CPAP shop that prides itself on personal service. Come see what you're buying at CPAP Plus with 3 convenient locations in Pelham, Highway 280, and now open in Trustful. Drop by for a free CPAP checkup and free filters, no appointment needed. Plus, sign up for their giveaway for a chance to win a free travel CPAP machine. Just Google CPAP Plus or visit any of those 3 locations.
Let's face it, a home is one of the most powerful assets you can have, and our friends at Mortgage Right want to help you build wealth through home ownership. Mortgage Right is all about providing competitive rates, a variety of loan products, and a multitude of resources for a seamless home buying experience. They treat their borrowers like family and are always looking to bring more happy homeowners under their roof. See more by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR today and start living. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, equal housing lender.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
Take TNR on the go with a podcast built for your satisfaction. Miss Hour 1, find it in podcast form. Miss Hour 2, stream it now. Miss Hour 3, download it for later. Miss Hour 4, well, just know it's never coming back. Listen to TNR wherever you find podcasts.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
You can't wait for college football talk every Monday, so we don't make you wait. Ryan Brown here for the Next Round. You can catch ESPN's Tom Luganbill with Jim Dunaway on Monday morning live at 7 a.m. I'm with Brandon Marcello on the middle 8 at 8 after the Next Round. Hear from Alabama coach Kalen DeBoer and Auburn coach Hugh Freeze. After the coaches talk, Fox Sports analyst Brock Heward joins Lance Taylor for Unlocked at 1 o'clock. All college football, all day Monday, anywhere you get the Next Round.
Hang out with the Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out the Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there. Here at the Next Round, we love our guests, especially our 2024 football regulars. Auburn, Alabama fans, we've got your guys. On Mondays at 9:25, we'll be joined by Alabama offensive lineman Tyler Booker, and Tuesdays at 9:25, we chat with Auburn quarterback Peyton Thorne. Join us and rep your team.
Back with you on the Next Round. We will get to Todd Fuhrman in just a second after I remind you of our friends at Urology Center. It's alabama.com. Urology Center is alabama.com. Guys, as you get a little bit older, you want to stay on top of your health from your 20s to your 30s, 30s to 40s, 40s to 50s, and so on. Make sure you've got that doctor that can monitor you and stay on top of your health. Early detection, so important. Everything from kidney stones to any of your urological needs, vasectomies too. Urology Center's alabama.com, 16 locations. Find one near you and make an appointment today.
All right, Todd Fuhrman is with bettheboardpodcast.com, bettheboardpodcast.com as we continue from the rabbit hole on the strip here in Tuscaloosa with our friends at Bud Light. What is up, Fuhrman? Welcome in today. Hope you're doing well.
I'm doing well, gentlemen. Hopefully you guys are the magic elixir for an Alabama season that's quickly getting off the rails in the week of what transpired last weekend in Knoxville.
The last time we did the show from this stage, Fuhrman, Alabama played the Georgia Bulldogs. So I'll let you answer that question if we're the magic elixir or not.
You know what? They may have to send you guys a private jet every single Saturday from here through the end of the regular season, knowing that Alabama will need to win out, most likely finish 10-2 to have a chance to get into the college football playoff. That's for sure.
All right, let's start with the – I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jim.
I was just going to ask you, Fuhrman, is Alabama anywhere in this schedule that you didn't think they would be? Didn't you think they'd have 2 losses right now? I know I did. I just thought it'd be Georgia and Tennessee.
You know, that's kind of my takeaway. But the difference being, I think if you're going to lose to Georgia and Tennessee, the resume looks substantially better than having a loss against Vanderbilt, even for as well as the Commodores have played. So strength of schedule will no doubt play a major role when we're trying to assess all the teams in the SEC with an unbalanced schedule. And now LSU playing a little bit better than I think most of us anticipated. There are still opportunities for Alabama to be able to make a statement, but the margin for error has completely gone out the window, at least as far as I see it from this point going forward.
So as far as Alabama and Missouri goes, this was around 13 and a half somewhere until the availability reports started coming out. And then you started seeing the leading rusher for the Tigers and the starting quarterback for the Tigers listed as doubtful. So I'll ask you from the Vegas point of view, is there any expectation you can see either one of those guys? And where do you see the Alabama-Missouri game going?
You know, this almost feels like a double whammy, not to come all the way back and throw salt in the wounds for Auburn fans, that Brady Cook ends up coming into the fourth quarter to win that game for Missouri, helping them erase a 2-touchdown deficit, and then gets ruled out the following week. for Missouri's trip to Tuscaloosa. You mentioned the injury reports for both of those players, and if the betting market is any indication, and we always talk about it being the ultimate model of efficiency, I would be stunned if Brady Cook was a surprise start for Missouri. Nate Noel doesn't move the needle quite as much, given how he shared some of the responsibilities with Marcus Carroll. But at the same time, we're talking about cluster injuries. For a Missouri offense that's really lacked some of that big play potential, we got glimpses of the Drew Pine experience that we'd seen at Arizona State and Notre Dame, and not the kind of quarterback to lean into the skill set of a Theo Weiss or Luther Burden. So part of the reason that you've seen Alabama balloon up through that 2-touchdown threshold out to 17, and also see under money as well from 55 down to that 51, 51 and a half range. And I'd be more inclined, if I was getting involved in this game late, to maybe look under the total. I think this is a manageable opponent for Alabama defensively, and quite frankly, this Tide offense that's underwhelmed in recent weeks, I'm not sure we wave a magic wand and suddenly regain some of that explosive flair that we've seen in flashes so far this season.
Fuhrman, I think there's some sharps that are trying to fade this Indiana team. And look, Taven Jackson will get the start, the backup quarterback. He looked really good in relief after Rourke went out with the thumb injury last week against Nebraska. But you just look at Kirk Cignetti, and he was on SVP last night, so confident. This dude is 14-3 against the number his last 17 games coached. The number's down to 5.5. Dangerous spot with Washington coming off the bye. But this is one of those that I just don't even know if I want to mess with Indiana. I sure as hell don't want to fade them right now.
And I'm kind of with you here. I think it's one of those things that everybody wants to have that scalp in terms of when Indiana finally falters from an ATS perspective, something that they haven't done since their season opener against FIU. People want to claim that they were on the right side when Indiana had their regression, but this isn't a game for me either. And while you dig into some of Washington's underlying metrics, this team's significantly better, in my opinion, than what their record suggests. The problem when you watch Washington on a week-in, week-out basis, they just don't do the little things it takes to win a game that's as buttoned up against an opponent like Indiana. You mentioned Kurt Cignetti, and he just has covered numbers, not through his first season in Bloomington, but something he did extensively at JMU and other stops along the way. Yes, it's a downgrade from Curtis Ward to Taven Jackson, and maybe the market hasn't built in enough of that. But at the same time, I don't have enough confidence in Jed Fish's bunch to go in there and essentially, compete to win this game outright now with the price coming down from 7.5 where it was early in the week, now into no man's land at 5.5 and 6. The one thing I will say is books will no doubt find themselves donning their purple early in the morning, rooting for Washington to find a way inside this number.
Listen, much like real life, people talk shit about the U.S. Army and U.S. Navy around the world until they show up and kick your ass.
A lot like football, yes.
Here comes Navy and Notre Dame. Nobody's giving Navy respect. Do they have a chance to go in and kick Notre Dame's ass?
I think you're coming at it from the wrong angle, Dunaway, because if you look at the betting market, the general public is giving Navy probably too much credit. Spoke to a couple of bookmakers, both offshore and locally, and they said about 3 out of every 4 tickets in this game coming in on the American Patriots, donning the red, white, and blue in terms of Navy, yet the number continues to leak closer to that 2-touchdown number. Normally, Navy and Army can sneak up on Notre Dame when they're flying under the radar. Not going to be the case with an undefeated Navy side. And the last time these programs met back in 2019 when both were nationally ranked, when Notre Dame closed as a 7-point favorite, they had that number covered by the end of the first quarter en route to a 52-20 win. Blake Horvath and what's gone on at Navy, absolutely incredible. Brian Newberry has this offense humming. But you look at the strength of schedule, both that they face from an offensive standpoint and defensive standpoint. This is a massive step up in class. And while Notre Dame's not always a team that leaves you brimming with confidence in terms of winning by margin, we've seen this team a little bit more dynamic offensively in recent weeks. I mean, they got down 7-0 at Stanford, rattled off 42 unanswered, found a way to cover comfortably last weekend against Georgia Tech. And I think this is actually a buy low opportunity. Spoken to some of the sharpest guys in the game when it comes to power numbers, and this is the single biggest disparity on the board this week. A lot of guys making this number 18-19, so it's rare to see a number nearly a full touchdown off. It's a lay it or don't play it scenario with the favorite here.
But, I mean, if we went to war with any singular nation in the world, Army and Navy would be favored, right? There's no nation in this world that would be favored over our military.
That is a distinct possibility, although watching the Air Force Academy try and perform defensively so far this year, I'm a little bit concerned about other nations around the world having a little bit of an edge up on us from aerial attack standpoint.
You know the old saying, don't you, for the Marines, like the Army's bad, the Navy's worse, and the Air Force is barely on our side. That's what the Marines say about the Air Force. So there you go.
And unfortunately for Air Force football fans, they have been the dominant program in the Commanders-in-Chief rivalry. Not exactly the case so far this season.
Todd Fuhrman is with us. BetTheBoardPodcast.com is where you get all the plays. He's on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline as we continue from the rabbit hole in Tuscaloosa on the Strip. I want to ask you about Auburn and Kentucky. This number is all the way down to 1.5. Kentucky is clinging to a 1.5 point favorite, clinging on as a 1.5 point favorite there in Lexington. Both these teams, Fuhrman, have played a different kind of bad football. Kentucky's has just been stinky bad lately, and Auburn is just creating ways to lose. But both these teams are in desperate need of a win.
Oh, for sure. And I think you look at the upcoming schedules for both of these programs. You lose on Saturday, getting bowl eligible is going to be extremely difficult for both the Wildcats and the Tigers. Last week, I'll admit, guys, I backed Kentucky plus 2.5 on the road in Gainesville. Watched them close a 2-point favorite in that spot. And a bounce here, a bounce there. Maybe Kentucky was a little bit more competitive, but clearly wasn't up to the task. And I have some major concerns about Brock Vandegrift and his ability to stretch the field. But on the flip side for Auburn, what has this Tigers team done to leave anyone brimming with confidence? The defense may be a little bit underrated. Offensively, they leave a lot to be desired. And quite frankly, when I look at a game like this, it feels like trying to catch a falling knife with both of these programs. Respect the money that's coming on Auburn, but it ain't getting my money this coming Saturday in Lexington.
The Rams were one of those games last night. I think if you're out there wagering, you circle that game. And I think you get one of those tomorrow in Orlando. And watching BYU give up 269 rushing yards last Friday night to Oklahoma State, they survived that game. Now you take on a Central Florida team that averages over 280 rushing yards. You've got R.J. Harvey, now Ja'Cory Brown, and they're laying 2.5 against number 11 and undefeated 7-0 BYU. I'm going to assume that you're all over the Knights here.
That would be correct. Grabbed 2 with the Knights earlier in the week before the line move. We actually gave out UCF as our best bet on the Bet the Board podcast on Wednesday at a pick'em. A little bit surprised to see this number continue to move. Would not be shocked, though, if we saw a little bit of BYU buyback, knowing this will be one of the more public sides. But you mentioned it, LT. When you look at the matchup here, and BYU struggled immensely to try and contain Oklahoma State's mobile quarterback before Garrett Rangel was lost in that game, I think it's a perfect blueprint for Ja'Cory Brown, R.J. Harvey, and even to get Kobe Hudson involved in the passing game to take advantage of this matchup. This is a BYU team that deserves a world of credit. They came into the year 150-1 long shots to win the Big 12, very much in control of their own destiny. But the heat, the humidity, and UCF getting a little bit of a wake-up call, taking Iowa State to the mat last week, I think infuses this team with some confidence. So I'm right there with you. I think you can find a cheap money line. It's definitely the home favorite or pass in this spot, as Gus Malzahn and the boys really need that resume-building win for what's been a disappointing season so far in Orlando.
Hey, listen, no two ways about it last week. Nebraska did not show up against Indiana and Bloomington. Now they play Ohio State, big noon kickoff, 11 o'clock on Fox. Can we expect anything different from Nebraska this week? Can they challenge the Buckeyes?
I don't think challenge is the right word. And when you look at the result, it's one thing going into Bloomington and losing a game. It's another when you get absolutely annihilated to the tune of 56-7. And quite frankly, I wasn't sure if Indiana was ready for the giant target on their back. Kirk Cinetti and company no doubt answered the bell. And I think this is a bigger indictment of Nebraska being buttoned up. The other questions and storylines starting to swirl around Lincoln is the overall health of Dylan Raiola. Limped off the field in that spot, and the people I've spoken to said it's a lower body injury that's kind of hampered some of his mechanics in recent weeks. The problem here for Ohio State, even coming off of the bye, asking them to win by 4 touchdowns in this spot, is a look-ahead game that they have on deck against Penn State. This could be a spot where Ryan Day lets the boys loose for the first half. They're up 3 touchdowns and maybe calls off the dogs, knowing that their showdown against Penn State will go a long way in the Big Ten playoff race and the potential to get to the conference championship game. But I want no part of Nebraska. I just haven't seen it from this team, and I'm not confident that they're able to keep this game competitive in Columbus.
I had Georgia this past Saturday. I think you probably did as well against Texas. Now Texas goes to Nashville to take on a Vanderbilt team that is catching 18. And I don't know. I would play Vanderbilt here because it seems like a team that won't get blown out. Obviously, Texas has got the much better roster. I just wonder where Texas is mentally rolling into this game after getting physically whipped at home last week.
These are the big questions, too, because from a pure power number standpoint, I don't make Texas an 18-point favorite in this game. I'm closer to that 3-touchdown threshold. But you do have to account for style of play. And right now, Vanderbilt is the closest thing that the SEC has to a service academy, the way that they've gone out there and performed. You look at what the New Mexico State influx has done for this program. Tim Beck, the offensive coordinator, Diego Pavia, giving this team a level of confidence. Eli Stowers continuing to bolster his draft stock at the tight end position, and Jerry Kill as one of their analysts. Texas also dealing with some injuries. Isaiah Bond officially listed as doubtful. We know he is the field stretcher on that offensive side. They're banged up at the safety position with Andrew Makuba, not expected to play as they want to err on the side of caution. And Texas also lost one of their other starting safeties in the Red River rivalry game against Oklahoma. Sidewise, I can't quite get there with Vandy. I think the correlated angle, if you want to get tangled up in this one, would be to try and go under the total. I think Vandy's going to try and take the air out of the ball. I think Texas's defense will be the best of all four units that we'll see on full display. And it wouldn't shock me at all, guys, if we were talking about this game 28-14, 28-17, somewhere in that vein.
Fuhrman, am I wrong that this LSU and Texas A&M line has plummeted overnight? Am I just not paying close enough attention? It's down to 1. A&M is only favored 1 over LSU.
No, you have been paying attention. The big move, though, came in early in the week where we saw A&M a 3.5-point home favorite in this game. Saw it taken down to 2.5. Doesn't take as much money, even though the Thursday and Friday moves when limits raised are always worth paying attention to. And you've seen LSU get another wave of support from 2.5 now down to 1. The big question for A&M along the offensive line, Chase Bisontis left the game last week against Mississippi State. I don't expect him to be out there, and that's a key cog along that offensive front. Connor Wegman, also an X factor for this A&M offense, wasn't good last week at all. Had Coach Elko calling him out, questioning some of the decision-making and some of the capabilities. The other area that I have concerns with A&M is, do they have the receivers able to test that LSU secondary, which is one of their bigger question marks and weaknesses. The other thing for LSU that I think has gone unnoticed in recent weeks, how much better this defense has played since Harold Perkins was out for the season. Whit Weeks has more or less been a heat-seeking missile for this team on the defensive side, 18 tackles against the Rebels. And this is an LSU offensive line that if they can protect Garrett Nussmeier, the weakness of this A&M defense is their secondary. Haven't gotten involved in this game, won't be on a side, but am mildly intrigued to go under the total at 54.5, 55.
Was that an F1 car in the background?
It sounded like it.
Every now and again when I'm not in the home office, I can't control some of the ancillary sounds. But no, we do not have F1 practice out here yet, Dunaway. You're going to have to wait another month for that.
Okay, because I'm coming out Tuesday night. I'm out there Tuesday night through Sunday night, and I'm told they're already starting to lay the track down a little bit, right?
The track is officially starting to be laid down, and they will also look to do a repave as well to make sure that they can have the Las Vegas Strip in pristine condition for the festivities that'll take place a week before Thanksgiving.
All right. Before you go, a couple things. Number one, for whatever reason, when we are here at the Rabbit Hole, one of the fraternities that likes to join us, they're big Louisville guys. So they want to put the L's up, boys. Put the L's up. They want us to ask you about Louisville tonight against Boston College. What you got on Louisville and BC tonight?
They may not love my initial inclination here, but I think BC is a live underdog catching 7.5. This is a Louisville team over the last couple of weeks that has played extremely well, but come up just short in some big games. I wonder what they have left in the tank to go out there and win by margin. This is also a BC team, probably a little bit of an underrated home field advantage just because it's so quirky up there in Chestnut Hill. Cullen Lacey electing to opt out to maintain his eligibility, never something that has me extremely confident about the current dynamic in the locker room. And while I won't necessarily call for BC to win outright, Louisville has struggled with mobile quarterbacks. So look for Thomas Castellanos, his legs and arm to cause some problems here. I actually like BC plus a 7.5.
Oh, they like BC.
Let me quote the crowd for you in case you missed it, Fuhrman. They said, "What the hell, Fuhrman?"
Yeah.
I'm sure you sanitize that on some level as well.
You're just trying to help out, man.
I know. You're just giving them your opinion. Before you go, you're under the radar play, Fuhrman. You are 5-0, we are told, from Keith. He's played it every week. Oh, in fact, I need to reach out to you, Fuhrman. Keith has won so much. This is no joke. He emailed the show, and he said he will be happy to donate each week to your charity of choice that you win the under the radar pick, but you've done so well for him on it. So you just text me, or you can let me know right now what your charity of choice is, and he'll send a donation.
Yeah, tell Keith thank you. And that's actually where I am right now, one of the local animal shelters. So I'm happy to share that information and appreciate Keith's generosity there with all of our under-the-radar winners. So I'll pass along that information, and let's hope we can stay hot in that regard. So we're going to go out to Laramie, Wyoming this week, guys, for a game that I know, Dunaway, you had circled, the showdown between Utah State and Wyoming up there.
Yes.
Weather forecast a little bit more favorable for this time of year. Winds should be relatively mild in that 7 to 15 mile an hour window. I like the game over the total at 57. When you look at Utah State, this team has been defense optional all year, and while Wyoming's offense doesn't scare anybody, this is a major step down in class. And you look at what Wyoming has done at home against inferior defenses, hung 24 on San Diego State, scored 30 against Air Force. And I think if the Pokes can get to 27, Utah State can do the rest. So we'll go over the total in Utah State and Wyoming at 57. I think we could be talking about this game playing into the high 60s, low 70s.
All right. Thank you, Fuhrman. BetTheBoardPodcast.com. Enjoy the weekend, buddy. We'll talk to you next Friday. All right. That is Todd Fuhrman. BetTheBoardPodcast.com. BetTheBoardPodcast.com. JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Real quick, before I tell them about Johnston RV Center. Next week, Ohio State, Penn State, look ahead line. I saw this from On3.
Where, at Penn State?
FanDuel Sportsbook. Yep, at Penn State.
I will say that Ohio State is a 4.5 point.
3.5. Skinny number for Ohio State going on the road to Penn State.
That number will change after this weekend.
That's what I was about to say. Go ahead and play it now.
Yep.
Headlines coming up later. We're about to do our 4 downs. Tell us about JohnstonRVCenter.com, JohnstonRVCenter.com.
I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur is where you find Johnston RV Center. You can get travel trailers as low as $149 a month right now at Johnston RV. The fifth wheels, the savings $35,000 and more. RV warranty forever. Make sure you've got that lifetime warranty on everything that is new and qualifying pre-owned at Johnston RV Center. JohnstonRVCenter.com. I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur, and always online at JohnstonRVCenter.com. Go see fall in America in an RV from Johnston RV Center.
I was by that new location of Slice last night, right there in downtown Homewood, and what a beautiful location. If you don't know where it is, it's the old New York Pizza, right?
It is, yep, right there on Oxmoor Broadway, right on the corner. Get into the Bajai Brothers. Yeah, we had a Calcutta there back, I guess it was the week they opened. So I guess that was back in early March.
That private room up the front there?
Yep.
Yeah, it's a great little private room. You can rent out for parties and everything right there at Slice. And as I was having the discussion with the guy who was cooking my pizza last night, a lot better dough, a lot better pizza than the place that used to be there.
I agree completely.
5 great locations of Slice, the original Lakeview, Vestavia, Montevallo, Crestline Park, the one Dunaway's talking about in Edgewood, Homewood. Stop and see the Bajai Brothers, local pizza, local ingredients. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
First down.
Better chance of an upset this weekend. Illinois over Oregon and Autzen, or Florida State knocking off Miami on the road.
Wow. I mean, Illinois, they're both about 3 touchdown dogs, right?
Right.
Jim, Illinois is just a better team than Florida State. Now, the difference here is Miami plays everybody close. Every single game they have played, they play close.
Yeah. First thing I would ask you, Brown, is the ACC
except Florida
replay center on Miami's side again this weekend? The chances are going to be yes.
Why change now?
Yeah. So they've helped them a lot, so they got that advantage. Oregon, man, they struggled to, Boise State's a quality loss. If we're going to count Vandy as a quality loss, Boise State's a quality loss. That wasn't a loss, a quality close win for Oregon.
Yeah.
But it was a close game. Could have been a loss for the Oregon Ducks. They played somebody else they shouldn't have been close early on. Was it Idaho?
It was
Idaho.
It was. Yep.
Yeah, I think they won by 10.
Yeah, we've seen Oregon have sort of a blah game. Closer for me, Illinois beating Oregon than Florida State beating Miami.
I think I would be less shocked if we came in Monday and Illinois had won that game than I would be if Florida State had beaten Miami.
I just feel like Florida State players, I don't know if they had an early checkout or if they're close to checking out. I just don't see, if you're built on transfers, what your buy-in for the rest of this ride is.
Second down.
More total touchdowns Saturday. Jalen Milroe or the combination of both Auburn and Kentucky?
Say that again for those in the back.
And Jim.
Yes, it's Jim. More total touchdowns. Jalen Milroe on Saturday or the combination of Auburn and Kentucky?
So the Auburn-Kentucky total for you, Dunaway, is 44. So Lance is telling you that's going to be a low scoring.
Yeah, so you're looking at, they're expecting 5 touchdowns in that game.
I mean, Iowa's total's back to 37.5 this week.
They play better offense, Iowa has.
Yeah, but it's still 37.5 this weekend.
I know, but there were games last year where it was in the 20s. I think Iowa and Minnesota was in the 20s.
Yeah, Northwestern Iowa this weekend.
I feel like you're baiting me into saying Milroe when you really think it's Auburn-Kentucky.
Yeah.
But I feel like Milroe is the correct answer here.
I'm going to go Milroe too. Breakout game.
Third down.
I agree. I think he's going to have a big game. Yeah.
Since
Re-breakout.
since the downward turn with the fan base.
He's gonna bring back
early October.
Yeah, he's got to bring back out.
I mean, heck, half these people wanted to see Ty Simpson last week. Am I wrong?
Oh, I don't
Look,
think half.
see, look, Ty
No.
Simpson.
Look at
Ty,
that.
Not one person.
raise your hand if you want to see Ty Simpson.
Raise
last
your
week.
hand if you want to Ty
Yeah.
Simpson.
If
Just
you're
raise your hand.
no, nobody. All right.
There's
all
two
right.
people. No, I saw two people.
We've grown as a fan base. I love that.
No, two people raised their hand that they wanted to see Ty
Okay.
Simpson. Yes.
Appreciate the Simpson family for that.
Yes. Thank you, Simpsons, for showing up.
Yeah. Jalen Milroe, big game.
Third down.
Katy Perry, 41 years old today. Ultimately, better career, Katy Perry or Stevie Nicks?
Somebody else, Stevie Nicks. Why are you showing me the Louisville shirt? That's got nothing to do with this question.
Stevie Nicks went to Louisville.
Stevie Nicks.
I'm sure she's had a concert there. Probably Katy
She's
Perry
had a-
has as well.
Yes, at the Yum Center.
I mean, is Katy Perry going to be iconic 20 years from now?
I mean,
Stevie Nicks isn't. I mean, she is now. I'm just saying 20 years from now. I don't know if Stevie Nicks will be
I think
iconic.
Katy Perry, the trajectory she's on with American Idol, already done the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I think Stevie Nicks is better,
Yeah, I would not disagree with that.
but
Yeah.
I will say the
I
correct
think it's
answer
Katy
here
Perry.
is Katy Perry.
Is American Idol still a big thing? Is it?
I mean, apparently, if you're paying her $30 million a year, or did pay her
They
$30
paid
million
her
a year,
$30 million a year. to
she
do
got
that?
$30 million. Yeah.
But I think that's the way it works. Like American Idol was big, early 2000s, and now it's 2024. So the people who are watching that in their 20s and 30s are still watching network television because they're in their 50s and 60s. So that's why it's still big for advertisers. Stevie Nicks for me.
Fourth down.
Pablo Picasso would have been 143 today. Happy birthday, Picasso. Better Pablo, better career. Pablo Picasso, Pablo Escobar.
Okay, Pablo Picasso, he's the one that painted the guy that's going like that.
The Scream, right?
Is that what that's
I
called?
think so.
Yeah.
He painted a lot of things that I think collectors,
Yeah.
they really, I mean, I think the price point on most Picasso is pretty insane.
Is there an art major in the crowd? Anybody an art major at the University of Alabama? Oh, no. I thought she was ratting him out. No art major. Okay, Tyler, do you know anything about Pablo Picasso?
So the Scream painting you guys are talking about was done by Edward Munch. Picasso did a lot of abstract art. It was a lot of like cube-based self-portraits
Did he
and stuff.
Yeah, did he do the one where the clock is like hanging on a limb? And
That's
it's
Salvador
like folded up?
Dali.
Is that him?
No, that's Salvador Dali.
Crap.
Yeah, our boy
Picasso
Tyler knows
basically
his
is a lot of
painters.
shapes, colors, and things.
I know what
Pablo
Pablo
Picasso
Escobar
did a lot
did. He
of
did cocaine and
self-portraits.
that trade really well.
I'm aware of his portfolio. I was just trying to figure out Picasso to make a comparison here. I think I'm going to go Pablo Escobar on this one.
How much more fun would Vanderbilt be if it wasn't Diego but Pablo Pavia? Pablo Pavia
You think that's better, Diego?
instead of Diego.
Yeah.
Hey, look, I think both are iconic, right? In their own field.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Escobar here.
Yeah. Do you think I
mean, Escobar had like wildlife, like safari wildlife
Yeah.
that is still rolling around down there in South America.
Actually, gave a lot back to the community too.
Pablo Escobar or Pablo
Yeah.
Picasso?
It's Escobar.
No, Escobar did give a lot back.
Picasso was broke until he died.
Yeah, Escobar was the Robin Hood of
Yeah.
Central America.
That's right.
He'd blow up a city official's car and they'd drive by and cut some dude's face and ear off. But
I'll tell you what they couldn't do is
bad
keep him in
hippo
jail.
population
That
there
son of
now,
a gun,
too.
man. They put him in jail. He was out in no time. That old boy would not stay in a jail cell.
That's Four Downs, brought to you by our friends at Slice.
5 great locations for lunch or dinner. If you're looking for a great place to go, take the family out to eat this weekend. Head into one of those 5 locations of Slice. From the soul pie to the hot mama to the wing and a prayer to the Majaga special, you're going to absolutely love it. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
They are, of course, killing us in the MyBookie.ag chat room.
Well, for our knowledge of
Our
art.
knowledge of art.
That was all Brown. It wasn't the rest of the
Oh,
table.
yeah, but I was asking the questions you were thinking.
That was
Goose.
Hey, this is a team, man. We're going to take credit for Tyler's knowledge.
That's right. Goose says, did he do the Moaning Lisa one? Was that him?
When we come back, I'll get your thoughts on the Super Conference, the portal, the NIL, the chaos that we're experiencing. How do you like it halfway through the season of this new era of college football? And we'll do the first part of the Buffalo Wild Wings Pick 3 show being brought to you from the Rabbit Hole by a couple of great folks. One of them, our friends at Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. The Bud Light's flowing with everyone here this afternoon on the patio. Also by our friends at the Pants Store. You can order anywhere in the world for great Alabama and Auburn gear from the Pants Store, pantsstore.com, pantsstore.com. Or you can go to any of the locations, including one down the street here in Tuscaloosa, also Auburn, Huntsville, Leeds, the original, all over Birmingham. All your Alabama and Auburn game day gear, dresses, rompers, and the fall wear for the ladies, free alteration, free gift wrapping. Nothing says Roll Tide, War Eagle, like the Pants Store, pantsstore.com. Back in a moment from Tuscaloosa.
Follow LT on Twitter at thelancetaylor.
Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game, or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
From the creators of The Next Round comes two new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. Two team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. Covercrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
Happy football season. At The Next Round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant Denny or Jordan Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to fall Saturdays.
From the creators of The Next Round comes two new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. Two team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. Covercrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light. is on now.
We're back with you from the rabbit hole in Tuscaloosa on another cloudless day in T-Town. The leaves are changing colors, and the season has changed a little bit since the last time we were here. Alabama had unanswered questions that were answered the day after. Then they went to Nashville and got shocked by Vandy. They came home, had more questions against South Carolina. Last week on the road to Tennessee, where they were upset and beat again. And now, with little buzz, here comes Missouri to town on a homecoming weekend in T-Town, brought to you by our friends at Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Tell us about Rabbit Hole and everything happening here today.
So we've got the I don't know if it's a collector's edition, but the large aluminum bottle that is the crimson color that they've got for different universities. I know that's a big hit with the fraternity guys out there and watching them knock them back right now, but they got incredible specials. Come enjoy that. They've also got like a slew of frozen drinks, including, and I thought of you, and I know you're going to want one because it's delicious.
What is that?
A vanilla bushwhacker.
I love a good bushwhacker.
They've got vanilla and chocolate. Chocolate seemed a little too heavy, but
I don't know now.
Take your pick. The vanilla is fantastic. But the Rabbit Hole, they've got live music on the stage that we're broadcasting from. They've got an awesome outback patio. They've got a tremendous menu. So just a great place to party all weekend. And, of course, our friends Bud Light, they've got that wheel in the back, which you spend that, it's absolutely free. And they've got a bunch of merch they're giving away. So love the crowd at the Rabbit Hole. Really cool place. Come join us. And if you can't get by today, you can get by all weekend.
Our question of the day is the Super Conference halfway through this season. How do you feel about this era of college football with the expanded playoff, the portal, and all the chaos that is going on so far this season? The question brought to you by our friends at A+ Browning.
A+ Style Home Remodeling. I just talked to Brad. We got some updates coming from Brad Bell. He called me yesterday. We chatted it up. He is loving you guys, and we appreciate you as the Next Round family supporting all of our sponsors, and you guys have really shown out for Brad. He's doing so much work with you guys, but he has got room for more. He's got tons of crews ready to work right there. A+ Style Home Remodeling. If you're tired of that outdated bath or shower or kitchen or master bedroom closet, that's what he specializes in: master bath, kitchen, master bedroom closets. And he's got financing available too. Maybe you've got some of the money, but not enough to get across the finish line. Don't let that slow you down. Call Brad, 205-422-1758. That's 205-422-1758. When it came time to do the master bath in our house, my wife scoured the internet. The person she picked for the job, after talking to contractors, certain contractors, and people that had used them, Brad Bell was the guy she picked. I'm glad she did. He did tremendous work for us, and he will for you as well. Here is Brad's number again, 205-422-1758. That's 205-422-1758. Brad Bell, A+ Tile Home Remodeling.
So how do you like this new world of college football, Lance? The super conferences, the NIL era.
When you say super conferences, you're just talking about 4 instead of 5?
Yeah. Well, okay. I'm talking about how big the SEC and the.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, when you talk about this era of college football, this is going to be fascinating to watch when we get to the playoffs, because you can't tell me that the schedule the SEC teams are having to play are anywhere close to equal to what the Big 12 teams are having to play. So that's going to have to be judged differently if we're going to do this the right way. You can't look at a 2-loss team in one conference and compare it to a 2-loss team in another conference. It's just not going to be the same. So we're heading towards what I think is going to be an awakening for either the Big 12 or the ACC, or a pretty crappy selection process for the SEC and the Big 10.
I disagree. I think the Big 12 and the ACC realized that more than likely, or at least every other year, they're only getting one in. And on special years, they'll get 2. And I think we all agreed the SEC and the Big 10, when we expanded to 12, they were going to get 3 or 4 each every single year. And I think that's kind of the way it is. But to answer your original question.
So you still think we're going to get 3 or 4 each from the Big 10 and the SEC? I hope so.
I do.
I hope so. But Pitt winning last night, we're trending towards the possibility of Pitt, Indiana being 1-loss teams.
Yep.
Right? So a 1-loss Indiana, 1-loss Pitt.
0 chance on Pitt.
Pitt gets not in. With 1-loss, Pitt doesn't get in.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Not if they're not the conference champion.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's my point.
Well,
if these teams keep winning, I keep waiting for Pitt to lose.
No, if
they keep winning.
If Pitt plays, I mean, either way, really, because you look at it this way. If Pitt was to play for the ACC championship with 1 loss and they lose, they are out.
Yeah, what if they play with no losses?
If they play with no loss and they lose, they've got to be in, because if you leave them out with 1 win, if there's like a 4-team tie or whatever with 1 loss each, and they don't play, and the winner is able to go on, but they didn't get an opportunity to play in that game, it does get a little complicated there.
That's my point, is that we've got these Pitts and Indianas hanging around. The Indiana's in the Big Ten, that helps them out a little bit, but their schedule is not the same as the good teams in the Big Ten.
Yeah, but I would say this, though. They're winning their games. And to me, Indiana and Pitt are completely different. Pitt was very impressive last night. Pitt was what you get week in, week out with Miami right now. I mean, Pitt has been winning by the skin of their teeth. Last night was very impressive. Indiana, I know it's been a shitty schedule, but they have curb stomped everybody they played.
They have.
So I'm just, again, I go back to when you're starting to evaluate a non-conference champion, 1-loss team, right? They're not a conference champion, but they are a 1-loss team versus a 2-loss team. Strength of schedule is going to play into this, and Pitt does not have the strength of schedule to back it up.
Okay, but what if Pitt's unbeaten in the ACC championship game, and that's the game they lose? So
I mean, again, they're just not going to have, as a 1-loss team, they're not going to have the schedule to back that up.
I agree with you. I just hope that's the way it is.
If Pitt and Miami play undefeated in the ACC championship, both those teams are in. I'm just telling you.
And I said that about Miami yesterday too, Lance. Miami is not going to have, at the end of all of this, you're telling me a 1-loss Miami, and that 1 loss, hang on, that 1 loss is in the conference championship game, right? They are not going to have a single top 25 win, not one top 25 win. That is going to be a really difficult case to make.
I honestly think this will take care of itself, as it did back in the BCS days, as it did in the 14 playoffs. When you look at Pitt's remaining schedule, they're going to lose 1, 2, maybe 3 games.
Yeah, I mean, actually, Pitt's got a challenging stretch of their schedule coming up right now. I talked about SMU on the road next week. Then they play Virginia, who's an improved team. Tony Elliott's got to play it better.
Virginia is kind of the Arkansas now of the SEC.
I mean, they led. Now, look, Clemson ended up blowing them out, but they led that game for a little bit. Then they're hosting Clemson. Then they're at Louisville, and they host Boston College. Pitt's going to find some losses.
Oh, yeah. And losses, I think, is the key there. Back to the original question, about today's new college football. Do I like it? I've been a big NFL guy all my life. It resembles the NFL. I know if you're a brand fan like Alabama and like Ohio State and like Clemson and like Georgia, you don't like this as much because you can't dominate to that level. But I think we're going to get used to this. And I think ultimately, if you are a college football fan of any fan bases but the dominant ones, you're going to love this model.
So here's what I like about the college football we have today. Texas A&M and LSU are going to play Saturday night. And the thing I like most about this is we don't have divisions anymore. Because used to, Texas A&M and LSU would play this game Saturday night, and the loser of this game was basically, they knew they were in the Citrus Bowl. Well, no, I take that back. Not the Citrus Bowl. They were probably in the Sugar Bowl, but they're out of the playoff. You play this game Saturday night, I think it's going to be a really good football game. Like, I don't think this game will be played to any lower level of play because it's not do or die for either team. I think they'll play all out, and neither team's done at the end of this. Like, we still get to see those teams play meaningful football. Like, if LSU loses, then the Bama-LSU game, assuming Bama beats Missouri tomorrow, the Bama-LSU game becomes an eliminator.
Yeah. It could be a play-in game based on what they've got the remainder of their schedule. Right. You brought up the last time we were at the rabbit hole. There were questions to be answered for Alabama, and Alabama answered those questions. And since then, they've lost 2 or 3 games.
They wrote more questions.
But I would say this. I mean, like, how many programs are in a better spot than Alabama right now? I mean, maybe 8 to 10.
Well, when you say program, what do you?
No, I'm talking about this year. So,
okay, so
a better position right now in 2024 to make the college football playoff than Alabama. There's probably 6, 8, maybe as many as 10 teams. I don't think that many. I would say more in the 6 to 8 range. But Alabama does know if they win out, they're in. It's that simple.
Yeah, they are. And I mean, so there are several teams that if they went out, I'm just pulling up the rankings right now, Jim, Oregon's in a better spot than Alabama.
Yes, undefeated.
Yeah, they're undefeated. Georgia's in a better spot. Even with a loss to Alabama, they're in a better spot than Alabama because they still got a mulligan and the schedule's favorable for them moving forward. Penn State's in a better spot than Alabama.
Yep.
Penn State, I just mentioned, they're going to be a 3.5-point dog, but if they lose that game, it doesn't change their math at all.
Yeah, they're minus like 450 to get into the college football playoff. And I think Penn State is good, but I think Alabama, neutral site, I think Alabama would beat Penn State by double digits.
Now, you let Penn State lose Saturday, which the boys love that one.
They're Bama fans.
Well,
so they've watched Penn State.
They've watched Penn State, but you think Penn State's going to lose Saturday, which is going to change the Penn State math a little bit. Okay. Ohio State's in a better spot than Alabama. They've still got a mulligan left. Texas, Miami, Tennessee, LSU, Clemson, even Iowa State and BYU, because if they just win out, they win their conference. They could still, so any team that could still win their conference is in a better spot.
But the other thing I would say about this is those teams with 2 losses have a lot of those teams have no shot. Alabama, again, there's going to be one game. Look, if they lose to Missouri, flush the season. I mean, seriously, with a backup quarterback, you can't lose that game. So if they lose to that, all bets are off. But it really comes down to me to a one-game situation that you brought up in Baton Rouge. And Alabama's probably going to be a short underdog in that game. But if they win that game, they're going to get into the college football playoff.
No, I agree completely with you, because then after that, it's a terrible Oklahoma team, a struggling Auburn team, and you don't have to go to Atlanta now. So you're not going to take on another loss. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to come down. If Alabama beats Missouri tomorrow, it's going to come down to that Bama-LSU game. And, I mean, I really think A&M's going to beat LSU. So I'm kind of excited, because I think Bama-LSU is going to be that old school what we had with Saban and Les Miles, when every single year that game felt like a national championship eliminator. And it is actually going to be that this year, I believe.
Tell us about our friends at Milo's, LT, getting ready for another big football weekend.
Yeah, we've got
the burger bar.
Really cool. Yeah, they do have the burger bar, but they've got an opportunity for you to win a burger bar. What is better than a Milo's burger? How about 24 free Milo's burgers? Milo's giving away a catered meal for up to 24 guests. That's right, 24 of your closest friends, coworkers, or family could be chowing down on Milo's favorites. And the best part, it is absolutely free. For your chance to win, head to miloshamburgers.com/catering-contest and enter today. That's miloshamburgers.com/catering-contest. Or whether you're feeding a few or a whole crew, Milo's has got you covered. Don't wait. Enter now, and maybe they'll be serving you and 23 of your lucky friends soon. Stay saucy.
And our friends Daniel A. Moore. Did you see Nick Saban? I sent it out on social media, signing his legend prints from Daniel A. Moore yesterday. He was down in the football complex signing one Daniel A. Moore print after another, the signature of the GOAT. You can get the legend from Daniel A. Moore right now by going to danielmooreart.com. danielmooreart.com. Also, the pencil sketch of Deuces Wild from back at the Georgia game the last time we was here. Daniel A. Moore has a painting coming for the Deuces, Xavier Brown and Ryan Williams. You can get that as a Bama fan, too, at danielmooreart.com, danielmooreart.com. And for the stocking stuffer for the Alabama fan in your life, the 2025 calendar is out and ready to go. Use the promo code TNR to get 20% off all at danielmooreart.com. Browning.
Did you say, Lance, they're asking in the chat room, Pritch Law, did you say you think Penn State loses to Wisconsin Saturday but would beat Alabama by 10? Is that what you just said?
No.
Okay. All right.
I said that I believe Penn State loses this weekend in a very rowdy Camp Randall.
They're going to jump
Saturday
around.
Night.
Jump around on that head.
And especially with the way Wisconsin's playing right now.
Yeah.
I do think Penn State loses that game, and I said I think on a neutral site on more given Saturdays than not, Alabama would win that game by double digits.
All right, then they misunderstood what you said in the chat room. Okay.
All right, let's jump into that game and others with our Buffalo Wild Wings pick 3. Tyler, hit the song, man.
Pick three, it's time for the pick 3. 3 for you and 3 for me, that equals a pick 3. Say goodbye to your family, it's time for the pick 3. Only time that I'm happy is when it's time for pick 3.
All right, pick 3 is brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah, get into one of those locations all weekend long, whether you're watching your college football action or you're just hanging out, Sunday ticket, they've got it at Buffalo Wild Wings. Convenient locations throughout the Birmingham area, throughout central Alabama. Stop in, incredible wings, great burgers, sandwiches. Find one of those weekend locations of Buffalo Wild Wings.
All right, the pick 3, you can play it, nextroundlive.com, nextroundlive.com. That is the only place you can play it, but we've got a contestant that's going to play it live. Mic is wide open. Anybody wants to come on? Come on. Anybody wants to come up on the mic, just give us your pick 3. You don't have to touch the mic. It's fine right there.
All right, so I got Yankees money line tonight.
Yankees on the money line on the road.
Let me add to that, Jim, before we get going.
I hate to agree with our former intern here, but I have the Yankees tonight against my Dodgers.
Okay, so let me add on here.
Okay.
In the Yankees and Dodgers last 15 games, they are 8-7. In the past 30 games, they are 15-15. And in the past 60 games, they are 30-30.
Wow.
Yankees will win tonight and then will win in Game 7.
Wow.
Book it
with mybookie.ag.
Mybookie.ag. Everybody give him a round of applause.
At least he gave a plug there. I don't know whether that wasn't really a pick 3, was it?
Wait. If I told you Garrett Cole woke up this morning with a swollen right elbow, would that change your pick? No. Okay. Confidence in the Yankees. Where are you, man?
All right. What's your name? Where are you from? Are you talking to Mike?
Alex, Richmond, Virginia.
Alex, Richmond, Virginia. What's your major here at Alabama?
Business.
Business. All right. That shirt. Look at that shirt.
Will you hire me in 10 years?
I would.
No, thank you. Man. I may need the job.
All right.
All right. Here's my first one. Boise State, they have a great running back. Fuck him. He's awful.
Yeah.
UNLV plus 3.5. Buy him to 4.5, or take their money line, however you look at it. They are going to beat Boise State tonight. That's the first one. Second one I have is USC minus 14. Rutgers, they're sorry.
They're sorry.
They are, though.
USC, they've been playing awful. Take that. And then, honestly, I'd go with the over in the Boston College Louisville game.
All right.
Hey, for anybody else coming up to the microphone, you can pick from the entire weekend. You don't necessarily have to do the Friday night action. Yeah, it's okay. No, it's okay, man. You did a great job with that.
All right. Buffalo Wild Wings pick 3. Good job, everybody. Give him a round of applause.
Let's react real quick to that one.
Okay. All right.
So who's running back? Are we effing?
That was
Boise State.
Ashton Genty.
Ashton Genty.
He's only gone over 200 yards 3 games. He's probably
Jim?
going to break Barry Sanders' all-time record.
Maybe the best player in America.
But I do like the running reps.
Oh, do you? You like your little Vegas?
Mybookie.ag. I think it's 179.5 on Genty. Over under.
Well, so UNLV's got the 20th overall rush defense right now in the FBS. I still I couldn't play under 179.5. I don't know if I could play the over because I do like the running reps tonight.
But he's going to have to play the whole game, probably, right?
And
I think it's going to be close. He's not played the whole game a lot.
This is going to be a 1-possession game.
Yeah, so I think he's going to have to be in there the whole game. So I actually think I probably like the over 179.5.
Okay,
just because of that.
What's next?
Here we go. Let's go. Name. Where are you from?
Y'all know who I am.
I do not. What's your name?
I'm Ford. I'm from Austin, Texas.
Ford from Austin, Texas. Hook 'em.
I remember Ford.
Big Louisville guy, right?
That's right.
Yes, I love the cards.
Yeah. All right.
All right, I know y'all do pick 3. I have a pick 5.
That's okay.
It's okay. He's got to give
me
the
rules as we go. Go ahead.
Here we go. All right, here we go, Ford.
Texas Tech spread.
Texas Tech spread. All right.
Nebraska plus whatever it is.
The 1 million that they're getting.
Yeah, you don't care, right?
You guys gamble like I do. Go ahead.
Oklahoma plus whatever it is too.
Oklahoma plus whatever.
Ole Miss.
It's 20, by the way. So you like Oklahoma plus the 20?
Yes.
I think it's 20.5. Yeah.
20.5.
They're starting Jackson Arnold this week. Lockington.
Oh, so this is Jackson Arnold's Lockington. You like you some Jackson Arnold?
Yeah.
He's been benched already.
That's the coach's problem.
Yeah.
No, it is.
I would agree.
I sort of agree.
Yeah. Brent Venables panicked in that situation.
I'm taking Jim's, Nick's, lock.
What's that number? Do you know? He doesn't know it.
He's
locked.
4.
Okay.
4. Okay. At least
waiting for somebody to know that.
At least somebody looked up.
I mean, they shot 55% from the floor in the loss the other day.
I mean, all right, exactly.
Also, Suns money line tonight at the Lakers. LaBoo. LeBron's ass.
All right. Thank you very
I
much.
like that.
Yeah.
Self-clapping, too. I like the guy claps for himself. I love
Boo Boo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nick's is a great play tonight.
We got a Missouri hat.
Oh,
boo.
Here, I'll help you.
M-I-Z-Z-O-U. My name's Matt.
You misspelled Missouri, by the way. Go ahead.
My name's Matt from Chicago. I got same game parlay. I got Mizzou money line.
You ought to be
I know.
Luther Burden 2+ touchdowns and Theo Weiss.
Wait.
Hey, if he's not pouting, right?
Who the hell's going to throw it to Luther Burden?
Yeah, you got your backup quarterback story.
Brady Cook's gonna come out. Big comeback last week, coming back out. He's ready to go. We're gonna get him medicated. He's ready to go.
Okay.
We call that a shot down south.
Yeah.
You're going to give him a shot.
Get him a shot.
Okay.
Some perks, and we'll get him going.
Perks.
Do you know a guy?
Do you know Perk Rogers, Aaron Rodgers? We're gonna get him filled up. And he's ready to go. Biggest game of his life, so he's ready to go.
I was afraid he was saying his friend named Roger.
Yeah,
you know Perk Rogers. Perk Rogers lives down there in Siesta.
And then we'll throw in Yankees money line tonight.
Yeah, get on them Dodgers as quick as you can.
Aaron Judge 2+ ribbies.
Yeah, okay.
Jack Flaherty a little too shaky.
Yeah. Good job.
Yeah, good job.
I didn't know we were starting a concept
It's like they've all got their script.
I know.
Yeah.
Buffalo Wild Wings pick 3. We're doing it apparently live here at the Rabbit Hole.
Can we get your name, where you're from, and also the number when you call your man?
Well, and I also want to know up or down from last week or where you are on the season.
Okay, so that's a lot of information.
Like, how much did you pay your bookmaker last week?
Name? Oh, yeah, that's brutal. Huh? What's your name?
My name is Max Brown. I'm from Louisville, Kentucky.
Yeah.
I am a big Cards fan.
Big Cards fan. All right, a lot of those here for some reason.
Are you the one that took everybody home for the off weekend?
I missed the last time y'all were here. I had to come check it out.
I heard that was a great time.
It was a great time. Got to see a big win. Blocked field goal return to cover the spread. So
yeah, okay.
We're gonna go. And by the way, the number I paid my bookies undisclosed last week, but I'm up on the year.
Do you Venmo your bookmaker?
I do.
Okay.
My bookie.
Too much information. Again, too much information.
So we're gonna go Texas A&M -1 tomorrow night. That crowd's gonna be too much.
Yep.
We're gonna go Miami -21 in honor of Mike Norvell's last game because he's getting canned after they get whipped by Cam Ward.
It's like a $70 million buyout. There's no way they're firing that.
Good luck.
The Saudis are gonna pay it.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, they're gonna fire him. They're gonna make them pay for it.
That's right.
That's right. We got 2 more legs, so it's a 4-legger with a little juice at the end. We got UK -1.5. Auburn can't buy a football game this year.
Yep.
And then we're gonna go against the Yankees, Ohtani anytime home run tonight.
Okay.
Yep. All right. There you go.
Anytime home
Good job.
run.
Welcome back.
Now, those are fun bets. Anytime home runs.
Anytime home run.
You don't have to worry about the score of the game at that point.
Oh, until he turns his ankle after his first
Anytime
bat.
home run for Ohtani.
Yes.
Buffalo Wild Wings pick 3. Before we get to another one here, I want to remind you the show is being brought to you by our friends at Michelson Laser Vision. When you guys get older and you can't see how much you owe your bookie, call our friends at Michelson.
Yeah, make the phone call that I made 20 years ago, over 20 years ago, 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. Had a conversation with her a couple of days ago. Our buddy Alex from Odie's was in there getting a consultation yesterday. It cost absolutely nothing to find out if LASIK is right for you. 205-969-8100. Tell her the next round sent you. She's going to hook you up with that hassle-free consultation. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, best in the business, 205-969-8100 or michelsonlaservision.com.
Is that an omen?
I don't know what that is.
What? Oh, no.
No.
Something fell.
What do we have?
All right. What's up, brother? What's your name?
I'm Clayton from Birmingham.
Oh, an Alabama guy at Alabama. That's interesting.
I'm going with Arkansas -7.
Arkansas -7
against Mississippi State. They're awful. I'm going
to much better with their Michael Van Buren, the freshman quarterback.
Have you watched him play?
I've not.
Yeah. Okay. That's important when you're making a pick.
This guy's right there with Dunaway hitting it.
Yeah. You might want to.
We're actually friends, so
yes. All right. Here we go.
I'm
All right.
riding with my buddy Max Brown on A&M against LSU.
A&M.
Yeah. So that'll be an elimination game when we go down there. I'm going to that game. It'll
Are
be
you?
awesome. And then I'm actually fading Kentucky and going with Auburn.
Oh, wow. With Auburn. All right. Thank you, man.
So you guys are all over A&M in that one. I sort of feel the other side of that one myself.
You like LSU
I
on the road?
LSU in that one, yeah.
I kind of like A&M.
I think I'm with Lance on A&M now. That number has dropped significantly.
Number's a little scary, and when they're playing at the against Blake Baker's defense, which is boy, they're getting after the quarterback.
They really are. Like I was not, and they were doing that without maybe their best defender. I mean, it's easy to forget that Harold Perkins has been out this year.
One of the best defensive package schemes you'll ever see is what LSU runs. They have a blitz that looks like they're lined up in the Maryland Power I, and they stack a guy, boom, 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 and all 3 of them blitz, and they come different directions each time stacked up. It's an amazing defense, and they usually get home. Red zone running game for LSU has been horrible. They're averaging barely 4 points a visit into the red zone. If they can get better at that tonight, I like tomorrow. I like LSU winning that game outright at Texas A&M.
You know, I'm inclined to go A&M here, and as a couple of those guys said, the crowd will likely play a factor. As I say that, though, they just don't win a ton of big games there. That crowd is loud, but what has it given them? Now, we got some Missouri fans back there that will remember that trip to College Station when they got absolutely blasted.
But you guys would give me this, though. Nussmeier has been good, but going back to the Ole Miss game, he struggled in a lot of spots until he had to make those throws. You're talking about an A&M defense that Mike Elko is the architect of. They're only giving up opposing quarterbacks 54% completion rate. This is one of the better pass defenses in college football, and I just don't think LSU can consistently run it on A&M. Le'Veon Moss, I think, can run it on LSU, though.
Yeah. 18 touchdown passes for Nussmeier, and he's been really good. I didn't think he was that bad in the USC game. He just has moments, especially when they get in the red zone, because they've got no run game. Ironically, in this game,
it is LSU that relies on passing the football, and Texas A&M, because of their troubles at quarterback injury-wise, that it's been Le'Veon Moss running the football, and usually it's LSU in this game that has the marquee named running back, and it's Le'Veon Moss this time for Texas A&M. One of the big games in our mybookie.ag, Buffalo Wild Wings pick 3. You can go play those right now at nextroundlive.com, nextroundlive.com. 60-something people went 3-0 last week of the hundreds that entered. That gets us over, on an average, about 67 a week, making it into the big drawing at the end of the year for the grand prize. You can go play right now at nextroundlive.com, brought to you by our friends at Buffalo Wild Wings and also by our friends at MyBookie, Brownie, mybookie.ag.
MyBookie.ag, the code next round when you log on to MyBookie.ag. You make your initial deposit. They are going to double that initial deposit, and you can play with that money right away at MyBookie.ag. That Alabama and Missouri number just continues to climb there at MyBookie.ag. So if you want to get on, you may want to get on now. Texas and Vanderbilt down a little bit. Alabama is 17.5, depending on where you get that. MyBookie.ag right now at 17. Texas, an 18-point favorite on the road at Vanderbilt. We mentioned several times that LSU Texas A&M number has dropped. A&M a 1-point favorite. That Auburn Kentucky number has dropped from its opening as well. Auburn just a 1.5-point dog on the road as they play there in Lexington. MyBookie.ag, code next round. Code next round when you sign on. Get that initial sign-on bonus. They double your initial deposit. Free money to play with right away at MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag, code next round.
So as soon as I got my heat fired up, the weather changes back. Now I'm running the AC. Look, if you have problems with your AC, your heat, or your plumbing, our friends at Hemphill Services, that is the number you need to call, 205-229-2090. Hard to stop a train. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Trust the name. Birmingham has trusted since 1954 for any of these issues in your home or business. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
Okay, back to the live mic here at the Rabbit Hole as we get ready for Missouri and Alabama this weekend. What's your name? Where are you from? What's your picks?
I'm Tucker. I'm from Atlanta.
All right, the ATL.
This is a 4-legger, 10 to win, 250.
Oh, I love those.
Some would say it's going to hit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, so your guy at the end of the table is paying 25 to 1 on a 4-teamer?
Sorry?
He's paying 25 to 1 on a 4-teamer?
He is, but he doesn't know it's hitting that. So
okay.
What's it normally?
A 4-teamer is 10 to 1.
Wow. I think that tells you how infrequently they hit the 4-teamers, doesn't it?
I guess so.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Would you take me at 25 to 1 or a 4-teamer? I'm the 4-team king.
I would if I were you.
Yeah. LT always tells me it holds any bet I ever want to take.
Have you paid your tuition yet?
Yeah.
Because Jim will make a play with you.
All right. So what's your play?
right. First leg, we got BYU. The Mormons and BYU are going to go in there. I don't even know where they're playing, but I'm going to take them. I'm going to take them at +2 any day.
For those that don't know, the quarterback is Jewish. You're not just making that.
And I have a Jewish friend too.
Okay,
so.
well that makes it all better.
That makes it less racist.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then we got I called Bama -13.5 before they said Brady Cook wasn't playing.
Good
so
call.
I snuck that in there.
Yeah, snuck it in.
Would your bookie agree? Did he catch him before the injury? Yes.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
I mean,
Yes, okay.
availability report didn't hit till Wednesday. You didn't know.
Yeah, good call.
Real quick, you got free play? I gotta talk to him after this. All right,
Okay.
third leg, I got Vandy, the undisputed #1 team in the country. +19 against Texas. They're at home. I was there when we lost in Nashville.
How was that?
Just going to the next pick.
Okay. Did you go to Broadway?
I did.
Yeah.
After.
Did you see the goalposts go by and go in the Cumberland River?
What?
Oh, it didn't happen, huh?
No.
Okay, I got you.
Did you have a lot of Trulies during the game?
I know who BYU's playing.
No, he can't even remember the venue. All right.
All
What's your
right.
fourth leg?
Fourth leg, +350. The Juice, Navy money line, the midshipmen, and the American heroes are going to lay the law down on Notre Dame.
Okay.
Oh, I would love to see it. I don't
thank
think it's
you.
going to happen, though.
Navy. All right. When we come back, we will do more of the pick 3 from here at the Rabbit Hole as we continue on. The show being brought to you by Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing. Hey, that roof eventually ages out and you need a new one. He does roof replacements there. But the best thing Greg can do for you right now, if you call the number on your screen, is he'll jump on that roof for free. It's a free roof evaluation with no obligation. He'll jump up there and let you know the state of your roof. Oftentimes, though, listeners, he comes down and he says, you know what? Your roof's fine. You got 3, 4, 5 more good years up there. And then he hopes you'll call him back a little bit later on and take advantage of what Greg from Pell City can do for you. He handles storm repairs. He's A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, and he's locally owned for over 20 years. Go check out Storm Restoration Roofing online, and you can look him up, Greg from Pell City, on Facebook. Back to Tuscaloosa and the Rabbit Hole after.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at jimdunaway.
Our friends at Milo's Hamburger invites you to join them in the fight against hunger in our local communities by bringing non-perishable food items to your local Milo's, including canned goods. When you donate a canned good or any non-perishable food item, Milo's will give you a free drink. Together, we can make a difference.
From the creators of The Next Round comes two new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. Two team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. Covercrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today. Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from The Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
Happy football season. At The Next Round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant Denny or Jordan Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to fall Saturdays.
From the creators of The Next Round comes two new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. Two team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. Covercrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. Two locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
We talk about all the biggest games every Monday at 10:30 with Fox Sports analyst Joel Klatt. Presented by MyBookie.ag, promo code NEXTROUND. If it is meaningful at all in college football, we cover it Mondays with Joel Klatt. Presented by MyBookie.ag on the Next Round.
Back with you at the Rabbit Hole on a beautiful, spectacular day. Usually these days are reserved for the golf course, but today we're sharing it with our good friends here at the Rabbit Hole, Bud Light, Adams Beverages. Boy, Adams Beverages is one of the great Alabama companies not just here in Tuscaloosa, the Birmingham area, down in Auburn too. When I was down at Toomer's for their tip-off, another basketball event for me, it was an Adams Beverage event too. So they're all over
the place, and just helping celebrate college football. And again, the commemorative crimson aluminum bottle. I never thought we would see that. You remember when it was so taboo for colleges to promote drinking?
Yeah,
and we were all doing it anyway.
Yeah.
And there's the bottles. But hey, great Bud Light specials all weekend long here at the Rabbit Hole. This is a really, really cool place that I really didn't know anything about until we came out before the Georgia game. But we're going to be hanging out not only for the rest of the show till 3 o'clock. We've got a Bama and bourbon. If you guys like bourbon as well, hang out. We're going to be doing that live at 3:30. But drop by, your opportunity to win some gear. Our man there got my bomber jacket that I tried to walk away with last time, but didn't get it.
Pitching change in just a second with that jacket on. Hey, but give it up for the guys at Bud Light and Adams Beverage for providing the cocktails today, the beverages. You got something on the mic you want to jump on again? Hop on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's one for one.
All right,
He's changing the
back.
wardrobe.
I'm back, Lance. Okay, so this is what we got. We're fading all of them and betting the Dodgers money line.
Dodger tonight, you mean?
Tonight.
Yeah. Well, we're fading.
Well, look, I'm pulling for the Dodgers, but I kind of think they're right with the Yankees. We'll see. Jack Flaherty just has not been good this postseason.
What about the series? What about the series? Do you like the Dodgers in the series? Forget one game. I want to know who wins it all.
One of my good friends is a Dodgers fan, so I want to see them lose. But
wow, what a great friend! Yeah. I've got a friend that's a Dodger fan. I got no dog in the fight, but I'm going to pull against him.
And then we got.
You sound like Dunaway, by the way.
What?
Yeah.
You sound like Dunaway.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Wait,
these are compliments. These are not insults. These are compliments. You got anything else?
I want to sound like Dunaway with him on the mic watching the Tide beat Wake Forest.
All right.
Yes. In basketball.
In
Yeah.
basketball.
Okay.
I watched that. I watched that.
How'd we do?
Okay.
How'd we do?
You know, y'all did good.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Y'all great.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, my next pick. Y'all know who I'm picking.
Oh, the cards. Oh, God, I thought he was taking his pants off for a second. Yeah. Happy shit. Yeah.
Hey, what time were you out till last night? Honestly.
3:30.
3:30. Okay.
What time do you start today?
The cards tonight are free as dirt.
Yeah.
Free as dirt.
Free as dirt.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't think you'll watch it.
We got an old friend stepping up here.
Lance, I know you like this bomber jacket. You're never.
Yeah.
I know. It's all you. It's all you.
You're never ever getting it back. We got an old friend that's going to step to the mic after LT tells us about our friends at CPAP Plus. I'm getting a text right now. I'm guaranteeing you it's about free Ubers.
Yeah, by the way, if anybody needs a Uber out there, we can help you out with that. So let us know. I think a lot of these guys walked over, though.
Yeah, that's good.
Hey, for the best CPAP gear out there with personal service you can trust, visit CPAP Plus. You can Google them. You can stop in one of those 3 convenient locations. Pelham, Highway 280, Trustful. For the next round viewer and listener, $20 off when you mention the next round for a new mask, CPAP cleaner, even a travel CPAP machine. Stop by today at CPAP Plus, where you're going to find the best service and equipment all in stock, ready for you with hundreds of 5-star Google reviews. Trust CPAP Plus for all of your CPAP needs. CPAP Plus, where every night matters.
Some people are rookies to the show. Some people are veterans, and then some people are legends. And we've got a legend that's coming up here. For 2 decades, this guy's ridden with us. This is Zach.
Yeah.
You ever see Zach in the chat room, man?
What's up?
Zach's in the chat room.
Powell in the chat room. That's right.
Bitches about everything.
No.
Yes, you do, Zach. You complain about every single thing on the show.
It's out of love.
Okay.
I've been around for so long. You know.
He's trying to keep us right, is what he said.
Dude, I haven't seen Zach in, I don't know, 20 years when he was running with Jace all the time.
Yeah. Well, that's what I got I got a phone call through a phone call that I need to be. I'm a good soldier now.
Okay.
I understand.
All right. Zach had to get in line.
That's right.
Well, apparently this is not your first beer today, right?
This is my second one.
Okay.
All
right.
The beautiful pernicious from Wicked Weed.
Yeah, hey, that's in the family. It's in the Adams family. We had that on tap in studio for a while. Yeah. Great IPA.
Wicked Weed. You cannot beat it. It's fantastic.
That Charlotte Airport place is still near to my
He
heart.
loves it.
Near to my heart.
The Charlotte Airport.
What was your highlight of the Charlotte show? Do you remember?
I told Brown. Now Brown says I bitch and moan about everything.
You do. You bitch and moan about everything. Thank you very much.
In the first 10 minutes of that show, abort.
Yeah. Stop doing it.
Oh no, it's fine. It's fine. My favorite part was the someone in the chat. I think it was Spiritual Law or somebody that was like, take the nurse into the
into the hallway closet. That was pretty funny.
I don't remember that part.
Yeah.
There's some I don't remember parts of it.
You were doing a weird man on the street interview with a nurse.
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
I do remember that. Yes, I do remember that now. Yeah, yeah. Well, you know me. I don't handle my beer very well. I don't handle my IPAs well at all. And I was on my third one, so I don't remember that show.
Everyone does therapy different. That was like a in person.
Okay,
You know
good.
what I mean? That was a good one.
That's what we try to do. We try to do. We are not very informative, but we try to be an outlet for people that struggle.
Yeah, they held the flight for us, so we finally made it in there.
They almost missed the flight.
Are those cut up hot dogs?
It's cut up Kaneka sausage.
Yeah.
Damn.
Brad, you go ahead and eat in the segment. It's
I
okay.
am,
Go ahead,
Jim.
Zach.
Don't you worry about it.
So two questions before I get off. One nice, and then one will be a bitch your moon question.
Wow.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay, well-
So LT, did you hear Oates after the game? He was like, "Where's LT at?"
I didn't hear him. Did he really say that?
Yeah.
Are you coming to the Huntsville game?
I will be in Huntsville on Monday night. Yeah.
I don't know if it's been announced yet.
Oh, okay.
But
I'll be in Huntsville Monday night.
Yeah. I'll see if they've announced it. Yeah, but there could be an announcement that involves us and the Bama Memphis game in Huntsville coming later.
Well,
today.
I am glad that Nate Oates wasn't worried about how well his team played in the second half. He's more concerned where I was.
He
So I
wasn't worried
appreciate
about
that.
anything. He played Mark Sears 31 minutes in an exhibition game.
I know.
And they were playing. They were having fun.
No, they got after it. That's what was crazy about that game. That was far from an exhibition game. That felt like a legit game.
They showed everything they needed to, but then they were running some sets that you were like, okay, that's.
Are you
that's,
in Tuscaloosa, by the way?
Yeah, I live
Okay.
close to where y'all
Okay.
usually. If I read the
Yeah. That way.
Yeah, that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the other question is,
Here we go.
heard the whole year, ever since we started the online thing, Auburn's coming back. Auburn's back. Who is the mysterious advertiser you are trying to court here? Because like Auburn, if you just read the deal, Auburn is not that good. Well, why would you try to
Look,
court
I
them?
want to say this, Zach. I was the big Hugh Freeze guy.
All right.
And he's a charismatic guy. He draws you in. And I still like me some Hugh.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is he can't beat a ranked team. The program is in a bad spot right now. And I don't know how they turn it around just with what you've got right now going in the SEC.
But to answer your question, we got a proposal on the desk of Jimmy Rain in
Little
Yellowwood.
yellow fella?
We're trying to get a little yellow fella now.
Hey, if he spends enough, I'll hype him up every day.
So this week, are we going to ask about Depeche Mode and Piggly Wiggly? Where are we asking?
Who are you talking about?
Peyton Thorne.
Peyton Thorne?
Who are we asking?
I mean,
Yeah, you been a Piggly Wiggly, Peyton? You been down here?
So you're suggesting we softball Peyton Thorne, but we go in hard on Tyler Booker is what you're
Y'all
suggesting.
ask the psychology of penalties getting called on defensive players to Tyler Booker, and then you literally ask Peyton Thorne, "You been to a Kroger?"
Well,
100% happen.
but Zach, I brought it up after the interview. We filibustered as much on that interview as we ever have before.
Very, very true.
It is so uncomfortable to continue to ask about you and Hugh don't get along. Everybody knows that. They don't want to admit it.
3 straight weeks. We asked him
just,
why.
It's difficult. I mean,
You're picking and choosing there because for 3 straight weeks we ask him about him and his coach.
Well,
how about you send us some questions to ask?
Here's the other, but I do appreciate Jim asking the length shirt question because that wasn't silly either. I understood what that question was.
Thank you.
So you thought that Tyler Booker, the insinuation was Tyler Booker was sending a message about that shirt.
100%. Yeah. He hasn't worn a length shirt the whole year, and he wore one that.
That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not dumb. I know what's up.
Okay. All right.
Okay, before
I'm not dumb either. I
you
wanted to point it
jump,
out.
do you think Alabama? Because I had somebody like attacking me. He said Alabama's going 11-1. Now he's saying Alabama's going 10-2. Well, yeah, that's the next obvious thing. If they lose this weekend, I think they go 9-3. But I think Bama goes 10-2. Where are you?
I said at the beginning of the year, I think I said 9-3 early. I thought it was weird because y'all said at this point it'd be 10-2. I was like, I think 9. I mean, this is first year. I know these are Saban players. These are the best of the best, but they didn't recruit to play with DeBoer. They could have. Washington was humming. Like they could have gone and played for DeBoer. So
Yeah.
we got to. Some things have to happen. Anytime there's a difference.
So where do you think they lose?
I know.
Where do they lose again? You think they lose at Baton Rouge?
That's the only game they can.
We're gonna. We'll see after this week. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think people think you and I don't like each other. We actually do.
I love Brown.
I
I
love
love
Zach.
everybody.
I love Zach. I just love giving Zach. Zach gives grief in the chat room. I give it back to him. I don't mind
Me
that.
and Brown can go after each other.
That's right. And we're grown men. Yeah.
Now Zach is going to be miserable when he gets into his 60s and 70s.
Why?
No, because he's very jaded.
He's
Is
jaded.
that fair?
No, he's jaded
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
What am I jaded about?
You're just jaded about everything.
I mean, it's
Everything.
glass half empty.
Yeah.
Which I've been there, and I'm still there every other day.
I don't see that in you, Zach. I think you and I are a lot alike, Zach.
Yeah, I
That's
agree.
Right, Jim. Thank you, Jim. All right, love y'all boys.
All right. Love you,
Thank
Zach.
you.
Good to see you.
That's
Thank you.
Zach.
Yeah.
The kitchen staff's on a break right now.
Why do you say that?
I don't know. I just Brown's got lunch. I don't have mine yet. No, we'll save mine for after.
But Brown asked me if I wanted something.
I did.
thought
I
was
asked
waiting till
Lance,
after.
but Lance was in there.
I understand.
These
I'm gonna
Connecticut
Did you
bites
order
are
a salad,
legit.
Jim?
I know they look fantastic. You rave about the food here at the Rabbit Hole. Tell us about
so
the Rabbit
good.
Hole.
Rabbit Hole's a terrific spot. It's right here on the strip in Tuscaloosa. They've got the werewolf dog. If you want a good dog, it's a brat. I mean, it is fantastic, the werewolf dog. Did you get that last time you were here?
No, I was eyeing it though, and call me a simpleton, but if I see a good hot dog on a menu, especially a specialty dog,
Yeah.
I'm all in.
Yeah, and these Conecuh bites, it's really just an appetizer, but I mean, it's enough for a meal. This is a tray full of Conecuh bites.
Looks fantastic.
Grilled Conecuh sausage, it is.
Rabbit Hole right here at the start of the strip as you come from downtown in Tuscaloosa. It is the gathering place on game day. Time now, before we get to the McCurry spotlight today, tell us about Gray's Tree Services. They'll take care of your dead wood in your front or backyard.
Yeah, look, just great people. They had to come out and extract 4 different pines, dead pines from my property. Before they could get out there, one of them fell, damaged the neighbor's fence. It's the last thing you want. You don't want to deal with that headache. Make sure, just if you think something's up, call them out, let them survey. Absolutely free estimate to come out. Family owned and operated for over 25 years right here in Birmingham. Experts in the high risk tree removals, pruning, soil health treatment to strengthen those trees and plants. Trusted by nearly every golf course in town at the Birmingham Zoo. Call 205-281-6100. You can scan that QR code or visit graystree.com.
All right. Todd Fuhrman was with us earlier. If you want to go back and hear Todd's plays for the weekend coming up, more college football in just a second as we do show 8:15 from here in Tuscaloosa. Don't forget a live Bama and Bourbon, first ever live Bama and Bourbon from here at the Rabbit Hole coming up at 3:30 later today. Alabama basketball playing in Huntsville Monday night. We will likely be part of that broadcast. Official announcement pending.
Let me see what time they know.
Yeah, I mean, what time are they dropping?
I don't know. I'll find out.
The three of us and EG will be up there for the Alabama-Memphis broadcast.
Of course, we got bounced from an event this past week that I didn't know we were getting bounced from.
Yeah.
We'll just find out.
ESPN Plus, SEC Network Plus for the streaming services for that happening up in Huntsville, coming up at the Von Braun Center on Monday night. Memphis and Alabama, their last exhibition game of the season before the year cranks back up. Right now, though, it is time for the Spotlight brought to you by McCurry. Hit it, Tyler.
The College Football Spotlight.
Like the game's already been played. Monday's headlines today.
McCurry Van and Car Rental, the place you go for those difficult to find rental vehicles. You need a car, you need a truck, you need a van. You rent from McCurry. They have got locations throughout North Alabama, even passenger vans, by the way, if you need something really big. Athens, Muscle Shoals, Huntsville, Coleman, right there on 2nd Avenue Northwest, Skyland Boulevard here in Tuscaloosa. You can reserve your rental today, 256-559-1003. That's 256-559-1003, McCurryRentals.com. McCurryRentals.com.
We've got 2 headlines real quick that predict the outcomes of the games this weekend. One of them right here in Tuscaloosa, because Todd Fuhrman was with us earlier picking the game.
Correct.
1-man, 2-man, 3-man, Furman. Everyone picking Bama this weekend. Bama over Missouri this weekend. That's one of the headlines.
Oh, the crowd likes
Wow.
it.
Yeah, soft golf clap.
Yeah.
The other one involves the big game, Penn State and Wisconsin. Who do you like in that game?
I like Wisconsin.
Do you like Wisconsin?
Whiskey.
Wisconsin, everybody. We got finger snaps there.
They're snapping for Wisconsin.
The headline likes Wisconsin, too. Holiday season almost here. Gold, myrrh, and James Franklin cents. Badgers beat up 3 wise men from Nittany. And it's a Wisconsin win up there. And those are your headlines today, brought to you by our friends at McCurry.
I'm too dumb. Can you explain that one?
James Frankincense. Frankincense and myrrh. Oh, come on, McCurryRentals.com. That's McCurryRentals.com. I can't bitch about Dunaway because I was not creative enough to do on this.
Sometimes you meddle by just showing up.
I know. You got gold and silver.
I could go a reference on a 2009 movie that nobody would know.
Yeah, don't do that.
It's like the break dancing medals in this past Summer Olympics. Sometimes you medal just by showing up.
Just there.
All right. Some more games as we get into those coming up this weekend. LSU and Texas A&M has been a big talking point, but so too the game here, Missouri and Alabama. We'll talk more about the Tigers and the Tide in a moment. The big one for the lead in the SEC, though it doesn't seem like it. I mean, we can sit there and look at the standings, but this doesn't seem like the first, second, are really the third best team in the SEC, LSU and Texas A&M this weekend. Really, does it?
Well, you say that. I mean, I could see either one of these teams beat the other two teams that people talk about. Texas,
Wait, now say you think LSU or Texas A&M could beat Texas or Georgia?
Oh, Texas A&M is going to beat Texas the final week of the college football season. And look, if Georgia plays down to where they played in Lexington, yeah. I didn't think Georgia looked good against Auburn. I really didn't think outside of the defense looked outstanding. That offense has got some issues. Look, these two teams in College Station will meet as top 15s for the first time since 1987. I think a lot of people don't realize this used to be a big rivalry when it came to recruiting back in the 80s. Texas A&M and LSU before they were in the same league together.
And the SEC thought because this game was played on rivalry weekend, Lance, they thought that would reignite this rivalry, and it just never really caught hold for me. It didn't feel like it belonged on rivalry weekend.
No, even when we had the 7 overtime game that changed, literally changed the overtime rules.
Changed football.
Currently right now in college football. But this A&M defense, look, the home team's won 7 straight. They are 16th nationally in third down defense. Opponents are only completing 54% of their passes, 10th best in the FBS. I just think Elko's defense is going to be ready for Nussmeier. Wegman's got to play somewhat clean football, but I like A&M in this spot.
So somebody, when you were talking about this earlier, was asking you, give me the good quarterbacks A&M has faced.
Well, let's go through.
Suggesting that Nussmeier will be the best.
Now, Riley Leonard did not look good against A&M.
He did not, but he's been a pretty average. You'll give me that. He's been pretty average this year, Riley.
Well,
Leonard.
he's gotten a lot better this last month as far as being a more complete quarterback. He was great with his legs early on in September. He is now consistently throwing the football, though.
But
so Riley Leonard.
The answer is Nussmeier is going to be the best quarterback they've faced.
Oh, that's 100%.
Yes,
that's 100%. So they faced Riley Leonard, whoever the quarterback is at McNeese State. I don't know who that is. They faced the backup at Florida, whose name I cannot say right now for some reason.
Lagway,
DJ Lagway, making his first ever start at the Swamp. They faced him. Whoever the Bowling Green quarterback is, they faced Taylor Green against Arkansas. It was a banged up Taylor Green, as memory serves. They faced Brady Cook at Missouri, a healthy Brady Cook at Missouri, and ran Missouri out of the stadium. And then last week they faced Van Buren. So yeah, Nussmeier is easily the best quarterback they faced this year. I'm not saying that it's a bad pick. I'm like you. I think A&M wins, but Nussmeier is the best quarterback that this team has faced.
Yeah, and I think this is one of those teams where I do think the ceiling is maybe one game they could win in the college football playoff. Like, I don't see either one of these teams as a team that really gets out at the right time and wins a national championship. But, I mean, if you're Texas A&M with Mike Elko in this spot year one, now on the other side, this is a game Brian Kelly really needs to win. Because then it does come down to the Alabama game.
Yeah, you got to bye after this. And then if you lose this game, you got a bye week to get yourself right for a do-or-die game against Alabama.
Okay, here's something that I think will blow your mind, but I think it's going to be true. Vanderbilt, who plays host to Texas, Vandy is better than any team that Texas has beaten this year.
Vandy is better than
you're going to have to go through the teams that Texas has beaten.
Well, the two brand names are Michigan and Oklahoma.
Colorado State, yes. Michigan, Vandy's a better football team than Michigan.
I think so too.
Now, you're about to contradict yourself because Lance and I argue it's the best Vandy team of our lifetime. You disagreed yesterday.
No, it could be one of the worst Michigan teams of our lifetime.
No, it could. Well, we've seen some bad Michigan.
You have processed that, and you do agree with this now.
Vandy
right?
is the best Vandy team of your lifetime.
No, there's a better Vandy team.
You said the Cutler
This
years.
Vandy team has lost to Georgia State.
Jay Cutler had 9 wins at Vandy.
Yeah, I'm wrong on Jay Cutler.
Okay. So you're going to go to
the best Vandy team.
It was one of the Franklin teams, is what you're saying.
One of the Franklin teams, sure.
Okay. All right.
They never beat anybody.
Michigan. Vandy's better than Michigan, you think?
I do think Vandy's better than Michigan. That's why I asked the question, yes. And better than Oklahoma is when we get there.
They are a more complete team than Michigan.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying 9 times out of 9 Vandy's going to win that game.
I think it's 5-5, but
probably 5-5.
I lean Vanderbilt.
Why I went 9 instead of 10, I do not know. UTSA, Vandy's better than that.
Yeah.
UL Monroe.
Yep.
Here's our daily UL Monroe discussion.
Shout out Brian Vincent. I do
Vandy's
think
better.
Vanderbilt's better, yeah.
State, Vandy's better than State.
Yep.
Vandy's better than Oklahoma.
Yep.
And there's your wins. So
Okay.
you're right. I mean, this would be the best team Texas has beaten.
Vanderbilt's got a better SEC record than Ole Miss, Oklahoma, and wait for it, Alabama. They're 4-0 all-time against Texas at home. Does that surprise you guys?
Vanderbilt's 4-0 all-time against Texas at home.
and
It surprises me they've played 4 times in Nashville.
It surprised me in the summer when you brought it up, LT, back then. and I'd forgotten all about it until you just reminded me that when they came into the league, Vandy actually had the best winning percentage against Texas
that's
than
right.
anybody else.
Yeah.
I remember you gave me that stat back in the summer when it became official. Texas.
I will say, though, Vanderbilt has not hosted Texas since 1925, so it's been a minute.
Yeah, now those were good Vandy teams.
It's been a minute, but, with a win Saturday, and I brought this up earlier on the show earlier this week, Vanderbilt would have wins, home wins over top 5 teams twice in a year. It would be the first team to do it since Auburn back in 2017. I don't think Vanderbilt beats Texas. Texas defense has only given up a little less than 10 points per game, but I do think, like, Diego Pavia, the moment's not going to be too big. I think Tim Beck, the offensive coordinator, is still going to do what he has done week in, week out. And I'll be a little surprised. I know Fuhrman said he had the number stretched out to 21 on his power ratings, but I do think Vanderbilt keeps this game interesting. I don't think they can win it. If they win it, watch out. I mean, the season is officially off the rails if Vanderbilt wins this game.
Oh, yeah, you're absolutely right. Because we've seen them do it already this year as this big of an underdog.
My paycheck games this weekend are Texas giving the points, Alabama giving the points.
Those are your paycheck games. So you would bet your entire paycheck on Alabama.
Hefty money.
Minus 17. Yes. And Texas minus, what is it now, Lance?
19 and a half.
19 and a half.
Yeah, big games, big games.
I'm with you on Vandy. I don't think they can win this game, but I think they create a lot of issues for you.
I just don't see a team that gets run out of the building.
It doesn't.
They're way too disciplined.
Yeah.
Now, Texas, like, at full strength, playing their best football. And, Ewers sooner than later is going to bounce back. He has just shown a lot of rust over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Top of the hour, one more hour to go from the rabbit hole here in Tuscaloosa. Don't forget a live Bama and Bourbon, so don't go anywhere at 3:30 today as we move from beer to sample a little bourbon with Aaron Suttles, who will join the show. This hour being brought to you by our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken, Champy's Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster for that great Southern tailgate food. Or if you're watching the game tomorrow, go by and see Sterling the Crew, Brined overnight, cooked to order, hand-cut chicken fingers, Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, and so much more. It's right there at Champy's Chicken, champy'schicken.com. We come back to the rabbit hole in Tuscaloosa with our friends at Bud Light after this quick timeout.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Hey, you feel that? That's fall in the air. And New Balance Birmingham got your fresh fall pair to kick it during game time and sport from the sideline. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280 right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
From the creators of The Next Round comes two new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. Two team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. Covercrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
Happy football season. At the Next Round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Emily Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant-Denny or Jordan-Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to fall Saturdays.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Back with you here in Tuscaloosa on the eve of Missouri and Alabama homecoming weekend. And Sorority Row is decorated, and Sean Alexander's in town, getting ready to
take a nap,
be part of the festivities. The grand, the grand marshal of the parade, and Alabama legend, NFL MVP Sean Alexander back here being a part of this magical homecoming weekend here in Tuscaloosa. Missouri fans in town, hope they're enjoying their visit here to Tuscaloosa. They came here a few years ago.
Yeah, we got a group of Mizzou fans way up in the corner up there from Chicago, Illinois. Oh, no, right. There they are. I thought it was the top corner. Back from Chicago, Illinois.
Yeah.
They're getting booed.
Yeah.
That's okay. We're hospitable here.
So are they Bears fans too?
Bears fans?
Are you guys Bears fans?
Oh, yeah, they say Bears fans.
You got to love some Caleb Williams, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Big game this weekend. I like this Bears team.
Do you now?
Yeah.
You're a USC guy, so Caleb Williams, that's your guy.
Well, everybody was dogging him out after the first couple of weeks, and he is rounded in shape. We'll see what they do at the Commanders this week, but I kind of like the Bears this weekend.
All right.
Yeah. It's a tradition. If you guys win, everyone rushes the field against Alabama, so all 9 of you run out there. You won't get tackled at all. All right, so we're looking forward to that big game happening tomorrow, 2:30 on ABC. Who's on the broadcast, Brownie?
I think Tess. Didn't we figure that out? Joe Tessitore, Scott Forrester's favorite. So you're going to get Tess. I think Jordan Rogers. I think Jesse's off for The Bachelor right now.
It is Jordan Rogers, because Jordan Rogers went by to see our friends at the Heritage House this morning.
Did he now?
Yeah.
How about that?
To where somebody may have said, you actually look better in person than you do on television.
Was it a man or a woman that said that?
It was Dunaway.
I wasn't there. I wasn't there yet. Or it would have been me. I wasn't there yet. But I was told that was a quote. Oh, you look better in person than you do on TV.
So it was Jordan?
Yeah.
So he came on the show when we were at one of the media days. I can't remember which one. Stayed with us for a little while.
Yeah, he's a super nice guy.
I
like through some other people, we had dinners a couple of times when they were in for SEC media days, and I think there's probably a stigma because of The Bachelor or Bachelorette, whatever it is.
The Bachelor?
Yeah. But yeah, super nice guy.
Yeah. I like Jordan. Now, Tess is not the favorite on this show.
No, he's a super nice guy too. He's just hard to watch.
Now, I like Tess. We've met him personally. He is a nice guy. Lance is right about that. But I think sometimes Tess feels like he's part of the upset, Jim. I think that's the thing. Like, he thinks he's contributing to the upset with his play-by-play call. So you call an upset? No, you're all on Alabama. That's anti-Tess. That's the anti-Tess pick, Dunaway. your paycheck game on Bama.
I don't know anybody that's on Missouri to win this game. Maybe to get inside the number now that it's inflated out with Drew Prine at quarterback.
Yeah,
explain to everybody about the injuries if they are new, if they have not been paying attention all week, how beat up this Missouri team is.
Yeah, so Missouri is missing their starting quarterback, and if you guys watched a lot of the Auburn game last week, you saw a lot of Drew Prine, a former Notre Dame quarterback, and he just couldn't move this offense. And I'll tell you, the offense is a lot different from what it was last year.
I think officially he is just doubtful. I don't think they've ruled him out yet.
Who, Brady Cook?
Yeah,
Cook. He is doubtful.
Yeah, but based on what Vegas has done with this number, he's out. Now, maybe he comes back and that number will dive. And maybe it's an opportunity to grab, a middle. I'm never a big middle guy because it's difficult enough to hit one side, but maybe you can find a number where you grab Missouri or Alabama minus 13 and you grab Missouri plus 17 and you can find that little sweet spot of a middle. But if Drew Prine starts, no Nate Noel, they are shorthanded at skill. And this defense isn't the defense we saw. We were talking about Blake Baker and what he's done for this LSU defense week in, week out and getting better and better. They have missed Blake Baker in Columbia.
Yeah, he was doubtful on the update last night, Dunaway, to your point. Another one will come out tonight at 7, and then I believe they drop one pregame, right? I think that will be the last one, but you'll see again tonight on the 2 updates. But I'm with Lance. I mean, the gambling public, for what that is worth, and it may not be anything, believes that there is no way Brady Cook plays this game. Now, I was talking to one of our guys from Chicago back there. He thinks not only is Brady Cook going to play, but he thinks Eli Drink's going to have to drag him off the field, Dunaway. That he is so dedicated to try to win this game, Drink's going to have to drag him off the field.
Well, he had the opportunity to check out last week, went to the hospital, came back, and had to prove his way on the field in the indoor facility, and he did that, and he went out and led them to the win over Auburn. So I'm not going to put anything past him, but sometimes the adrenaline takes over in that situation.
Yeah,
it's been a long week.
I think we all have to respect what he did, right?
Oh, absolutely.
I respect the heck out of what he did against Auburn. The fact that this guy's out of the game, and he says, at least according to the announcers on TV, says, I got 2.5 games left at Faurot Field, and I'm not missing any part of it. Put me back in the game. And then your back's against the wall, and you go 17 plays, 95 yards for the win.
Yeah, and I think we're all in agreement, and probably everybody in the world, that if he doesn't come back, they don't win that game.
No, Drew Prine doesn't get them to victory.
And it had to be bad enough that the training staff was like, we've got to go get you checked out at the ER.
Yeah. I mean, that's crazy that he went to the ER and was back in the game. I mean, I actually don't know that I've ever seen that happen.
Ironically, the common opponent right now between Missouri and Alabama is Vanderbilt.
That's right.
Alabama lost the game. Missouri won it in double overtime.
But I don't know if you remember our reaction to that Missouri double overtime win. I remember us like, boy, is Missouri a fraud. Took them double overtime to beat Vandy. That's obviously before Vandy beat Alabama, but it's before Vandy went on the road and beat Kentucky. I mean, we just thought that was Missouri showing up as a fraud. They were showing themselves early, but turned out that wasn't the worst win in the world for Missouri.
Yeah, I do think at that point we thought Missouri was still really good, and I think people were baffled, like, what are they doing at home in overtime with Vanderbilt? But it was after that Missouri game that I think they really built their confidence. Like, they beat Alabama right after that, and they just rolled into Kentucky. And Ball State, you can understand them being a little flat, but I don't think Vanderbilt realized how good they can be until that Missouri game.
4-0 Alabama against Missouri since they've joined the SEC. Old-time Alabama fans will remember when Missouri ruined a possible national championship season for Alabama back in the 70s.
Was that Liberty Bowl?
No, it was a regular season game.
Oh,
regular Alabama season? From being national
champions. A little note for you, though. Alabama and Nick Saban, not only winning championships, and I think this got hidden a little bit, he was really good at covering games. And you look at this Alabama team right now under Kalen DeBoer, 1-3 against the number in SEC play. Now, this is a good trend for Alabama fans out there. Since 2012, after the Tennessee game, Alabama is 12-0 straight up, and they're 10-2 against the number. So in this spot following Tennessee, they've been really good.
19.5 points is the average Missouri loses to Alabama by since they've joined the SEC, and the line is
17 and a half. 17, I think, right now at mybookie.ag.
All right. So mybookie.ag, Brownie, tell us about them, and then we'll jump back into some totals that you find at mybookie.ag. And you played the little fun over-under game that we love to do on Fridays.
All right. So mybookie.ag, code next round is where you go. You sign up, you make your initial deposit right there at mybookie.ag. They're going to double that. Alabama is up to 17.5 right now on Missouri. The total on that game, 50.5. So the Crimson Tide is 17.5-point favorite. We mentioned Texas and Vandy. Texas an 18-point favorite, and Nashville is where you can find that game. LSU and Texas A&M. A&M still a 1-point narrow home favorite, and Auburn at Kentucky. The Wildcats still a 1.5-point favorite. Auburn going to be a 1.5-point dog on the road. MyBookie.ag is where you play all those games. You can bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag, and you can use code NEXTROUND. You make your initial deposit to play, they double that. That is absolutely free money. You can use at mybookie.ag, code NEXTROUND when you sign on next round at mybookie.ag to double that initial deposit. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag, code NEXTROUND.
Great seeing all the Bud Light bottles starting to stack up on the tables here. Give you guys a nice round of applause for the Bud Lights here.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Everybody, cheers to everyone.
I think all of these guys love the price point of the Bud Lights. Right?
Yeah, it's a great way to spend your Friday. You guys that know anything about gambling, I've got Brady Cook at mybookie.ag over under 199.5. If I played that as an under thinking he doesn't play, does the bet get washed?
It does not count unless he starts the game.
Unless he has to start?
Got to start.
So even if he comes in relief?
Got to start.
Wow. So Dunaway, I'd stay away.
Yeah. Jalen Milroe over under 240.5 yards. How you feeling, LT?
Well, we're talking about passing, right?
These are passing yards, yeah.
I would lean over, but it's one of those things. I think I would more take a flyer on if they have the prop of Jalen Milroe total touchdowns. But I think, rushing yards probably 63.5. I'm guessing. I hadn't seen this.
Well, I would real quick on the passing. Best pass defense in the conference is Texas. You know number 2 is? That'd be MIZ.
ZOU?
ZOU.
But going back to the quarterbacks they haven't faced yet.
That's true. Now, they've only given up 6 passing touchdowns, and they've actually got 5 interceptions. So Missouri's gotten after it in pass defense a little bit, and I think we saw it a little bit with Auburn last week. Now, not that Auburn's a great passing attack by any stretch of the imagination, but they struggled a little bit against that Missouri defense. So it's not the easiest defense. I'll give you a comparison. They give up about 23 yards less per game than Tennessee does, and Alabama didn't exactly tear it up through the air against Tennessee.
Well, they didn't, but if you go back,
they had open
guys.
He did. He did.
In passing yards, over under for Connor Wegman in the A&M game as they host LSU, 206.5 yards. But this is another one I'm not sure Wegman's playing, right?
I think Wegman is playing. I think it's short leash, and that's thing you've got to be aware of, that if Wegman goes out and struggles in the first half, I could see Marcel Reed coming into this game.
So under would be a nice play there then.
Unless he doesn't struggle.
I'll stick with that same stat line. Mississippi State is the worst pass defense in the SEC. Would you like to guess who is next to worst?
LSU.
That is LSU. LSU is allowing 243.7 through the air per game. And that is 15 out of 16 in the Southeastern Conference. So I don't know how you want to play it that way, but LSU is susceptible through the air.
Nussmeier, big number, LT, 275.5.
I think it's showing you that they don't believe that LSU is going to be able to run the football with Caden Durham against this A&M defense. And if they're able to win, they're going to have to throw the football.
Over under passing yards in the Penn State at Wisconsin game, Drew Aller, 209.5.
I would go under there. I think Penn State's path to victory here is running the football with, they've got 2 really good backs, and I just don't see Aller going on the road against Wisconsin and having a lot of success.
Braden Locke, by the way, 181.5 in that game, in that contest. The much talked about Texas Vandy game in Nashville. Quinn Ewers, total passing yards, 242.5.
I think I would go over there. Quinn Ewers, even if Vanderbilt's going to keep this game close, I think Quinn Ewers is sooner or later is going to break out. And Steve Sarkisian, I would assume, and I don't know what you guys think about this, that Sark probably pulled Quinn Ewers over and said, hey, look, you're our guy.
Yeah.
We just wanted to change things up. We weren't doing anything offensively. It wasn't your fault. That defense is really good. But you are our guy moving forward. We know we've got a quality guy. We love Arch. You love Arch. But you are going to be the guy. And I think Quinn Ewers, he's got to get a little bit better, or Texas is going to be in some trouble if Quinn Ewers doesn't get better.
But it's not just Sark's words. Like, Quinn Ewers got to see Arch in action replacing him, and it wasn't great. So I don't think he's necessarily going to be threatened looking over his shoulder. If Arch had come in and had played well enough to get them back in the game, I'm crappy. Maybe starting in this game, right? But even if he wasn't, if you're Quinn Ewers, you start to get a little bit worried about that.
My concern in the 242.5 would be how Vandy, much like a military academy, can shorten a game if
That's
they
right.
want to.
I mean, you saw it with Alabama. They got 19 minutes of possession.
I think it was 17, actually.
Was it 17?
Yeah,
Whatever it was. They did not get much time of possession.
By the way, Pavia at 168.5 throwing the football.
He doesn't sling it around a lot.
Yeah, that's a low total. One more game, Oregon and Illinois up in Eugene. 286.5 for Dylan Gabriel in a total.
It's a really good Illinois defense. And if Illinois' got any shot at all, they've got to limit what Dylan Gabriel does. I don't think Illinois does, but I've doubted them a couple of times this year, and they've played within the number. This is a big number, though.
Yeah. So that's one game. We haven't talked a ton about Ole Miss playing host to Oklahoma straight out of game day, 11 a.m. That's part of the SEC schedule tomorrow. That is brought to you in part by our friends at Inverness Country Club. Look ahead, Brownie, to that SEC schedule tomorrow.
So ICCalabama.com is the website to go to, ICCalabama.com for Inverness Country Club. You could see the dry try event that they've got going on tomorrow, the mixed doubles tennis event, and then the golf event starting at 12:30 shotgun start on Sunday. Open to members, non-members, does not matter. At Inverness Country Club, if you've always wanted to go see it, you can. ICCalabama.com. That's a great place to find information to join as well. At Inverness, ICCalabama.com.
Ole Miss trying to stay in the playoff race to get to that Georgia game against an Oklahoma team that's back to Jackson Arnold at quarterback.
Yeah, and look, in Oklahoma, the unfortunate thing for Jackson Arnold, I don't think we've been able to see Jackson Arnold at his best. You've had receivers banged up. This offensive line has allowed 29 sacks. Second worst, not in the SEC, but all of the FBS. They are in danger of losing 4 of 8 games for the first time since 1998. You guys want to give me the coach back in 1998?
For the
Oklahoma Sooners.
Oklahoma Sooners.
They were awful.
Is that going to be the John Blake
It
era?
was John Blake.
Yeah.
They are last in the SEC in rushing at 112 yards a game. They're last in yards per play at 4.3 yards per play, and they're last in third down conversions. They're only converting 27% of their third downs. Ole Miss can't afford anything. I know there's a lot of pressure on Ole Miss, but at the same time, I think playing with pressure against Oklahoma probably benefits Ole Miss.
Oklahoma's offense is so bad, it is just hard to see a path to victory for them in this game, playing there in Oxford. And you're just waiting on this Ole Miss offense to break. You mentioned the Jalen Milroe break back out game. I'm kind of wanting this Ole Miss offense to break back out. They've gone in a shell a little bit. Not in a shell, that's probably an overstatement, but they've struggled as SEC defenses have started showing up a little bit.
When the season's over with, your next big question on this Friday from the Rabbit Hole, brought to you by our friends at Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. When the season's over with, the SEC's first team all-SEC quarterback will be who? And how much of that is decided this weekend?
A lot of it will be decided this weekend because I think right now, as we discussed yesterday, it'll be Diego Pavia. So you got to see if he can keep it up against teams like Texas. Like if Pavia, even in a loss, Lance, if he goes out and plays well against Texas and complicates this for the Longhorns, that's a win for him in terms of being an SEC, first team.
Yeah, so it is Pavia right now. I think if Nussmeier goes to College Station and wins and goes over that 278, whatever that number was, and throws for 300 in a win, then I think it's just back to Nussmeier. If they lose, Nussmeier's probably out. I think Milroe and Pavia then would be your two. I think right now it's Pavia, Nussmeier, and Milroe all kind of mixed up, and it's going to be one of those three guys.
So Milroe does have a path back.
Yeah, I think so.
All SEC first team.
I do, because I think you can flush one bad game. And let's face it, he wasn't great against South Carolina, but he wasn't bad. He's pretty good against Vanderbilt. He just didn't have a lot of possessions. And so the one bad outing was against a really good Tennessee defense on the road.
I think it's Pavia right now. I'm with Lance. I could see a path for Milroe getting there. Probably not yours. He missed a couple games, and the play just hasn't been great.
Jackson Dart might still be able to get back there.
Dart might could sneak back in. I think Nussmeier could get there.
Carson Beck.
I don't think
so. I think he's just played so poorly compared to last year's numbers. It's going to be a tough case to make for him. And they don't have a ton of huge games left. That game in Oxford's a big one. But, primarily they're playing the easier part of their schedule.
And I would say this about Pavia. I think there's a lot of people that want him to be that guy. They want to vote for it. It's kind of like Bryson Daly right now, your Army quarterback, Blake Horvath, your Navy quarterback. If those guys continue to win, I think there are people that want to see them in New York.
When you talk about NFL draft next year, you and I talked about maybe Milroe cost himself a few dollars in the game at Tennessee. Maybe he can play his way back into that cash. What has Carson Beck done to his financial future in the NFL?
I think he's heard it going on the road, playing against a really good defense and throwing the 3 picks. I just don't know who that number 1 overall pick is. Like, everybody thinks it's Shedeur Sanders. It probably is. Travis Hunter, I still think, is a reach as a cornerback or a receiver to go number 1 overall. He's going to be in the top 5. But Beck has got the size. He's got the arm strength. He's just made some bad decisions this year. I don't think it'll matter. I mean, let's go back to it. Will Levis was supposed to go in the top 10, ended up going the front half of the second round. But there are a lot of reaches when it comes to the quarterback position, and you're going to see it again this year. Cleveland's going to be after a quarterback. Trying to think, drafting up early. Tennessee 100% will be after a quarterback. There are 6 or 7 teams that are going to be after a quarterback. So Carson Beck is definitely going to be a first-round guy. It just depends on how high.
Maybe the New York Jets.
The Jets, why would you not? I mean, you know that Aaron Rodgers, this could be it.
Even if it's not his last year, you're at least in line.
Oh, and the Rams.
You've got your,
the Rams are going to be drafting a quarterback.
Yeah. SEC schedule there brought to you by Inverness. It's 2 games in each window. Morning windows, Oklahoma, Ole Miss, 11 o'clock straight out of game day on ESPN. Arkansas, Mississippi State, 11:45 SEC Network. Missouri and Alabama here in Tuscaloosa, 2:30 Maine. ABC game with Joe Tess in town. Texas and Vandy's 3:15 on the SEC Network. And then the primetime slate, Auburn and Kentucky and Lexington, 6:45. And maybe the biggest game in the country is in College Station, LSU and Texas A&M, 6:30 on ABC. That's your SEC schedule tomorrow. Don't forget, we've got SEC coverage year-round with our friends at Cover Crimson, covercrimson.com. You can sign up for $1 a day to get insider information, message boards, free shows as well over at Cover Crimson on YouTube and all of our social media platforms.
$1 a month.
$1 a month. What'd I say?
$1 a day.
$1 a day.
Significantly more expensive.
That would be $365 a year.
Super that would
premium
be.
And then we can get you a much better deal than that.
Yes.
$1 a month over at Cover Crimson, covercrimson.com. Sign up for all your Alabama information from guys like Clint Lamb, former NFL star and Alabama star Mike Johnson, and others over there at covercrimson.com, covercrimson.com. We've got trash coming up on the other side. One more big game to talk about tonight is the Boise State UNLV game. We touched on it a little bit earlier. It's 9:30 on CBS Sports Network. Boise and UNLV, they're in Vegas. And I will tell you, UNLV has beaten some good teams, man. That Houston team, not as good as they used to be, but it's playing better. Kansas, not as good as expected, but it's got talent. Oregon State was a win for them. Their only loss, that 3-point loss to Syracuse.
Yeah, when Matthew Slucka decided to tap out, didn't get the money he wanted in NIL, and Haj Malik Williams took over, I think people were somewhat concerned. Barry Odom obviously wasn't concerned because he wasn't going to pay the money, but Malik Williams has gone 14 total touchdowns, only 2 picks. And Ashton Genty, by far the best player on the field tonight. Second best player, Ricky White III, the wide receiver out of UNLV that's already got over 600 yards and 9 touchdowns. Also, he has 3 block punts, which leads the nation. So you've got what is going to be a first-round wide receiver out there blocking punts.
This sounds crazy to say about a game like this, but it's where we are in the playoffs. In terms of the college football playoffs, Dunaway, this is a massive game for Boise State. And
I mean, the millions of dollars it could cost them losing this game.
There's no doubt. This is a very losable game for them. And it's also about as big a national stage as they're going to get. Now, it's CBS Sports Network, which is less viewed than playing a game, say, on ESPN or something like that.
It's hard to find. Now, it'll pop up on our YouTube, but back in the DirecTV days, it was like 221.
Yeah. But
very random.
It was, but you also have the World Series Game 1 going on. That's going to get a ton of eyeballs.
College football right across from it on main Fox is Rutgers and USC. 10 o'clock.
Yeah, which is not. I mean, I think UNLV Boise's a more entertaining game than Rutgers and USC.
But it's
if
not
you're USC, you hope so.
But it's not.
It's not the USC brand, and it's not on main Fox.
That's right, and that was going to be my point. So, but if you're Boise, when you play on Saturdays, you really get lost. I mean, this is your chance to get some eyeballs. And people for Ashton Genty in terms of the Heisman, and also for UNLV in terms of just people seeing them play the game.
Yeah,
but it's a losable game. That's the biggest thing in terms of the playoffs. It's a losable game.
Game 1 of the World Series leads right into Rutgers USC tonight on Fox.
I do think.
Will you be able to tell an intensity difference between Dodger Stadium and the Mausoleum?
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. I was talking to Maddie last night about that because she's from LA, and I was like, how long do you think if we were in LA it would take us to get Dodger Stadium after that game to the Coliseum?
You would not see halftime.
Oh, at least 2 hours.
Yeah, it's at least going to take 2 hours.
At least 2
You
hours.
get there mid-third quarter.
But I do think it's interesting if people haven't watched Ashton Genty play. He is maybe the best player in college football right now. He does have an opportunity to break that 26-28 of Barry Sanders. And this is a game, if they win, as long as they win the Mountain West Conference Championship, they are going to be your Group 5 rep.
Yep, I agree with you. Eric Bledsoe, NBA star, was with me judging last night at Sanford. He was in town. He and his wife live in Calabasas, California. I said, I got a friend from Calabasas.
Yeah.
Who's dating my man Lance, my
never,
coworker.
I never hear that city, though, when I don't think about Kobe,
Yeah.
unfortunately. I should think about other things, but I think about Kobe.
Yeah. Speaking of Kobe, DeAndre Hopkins will wear jersey number 8 now with the Kansas City Chiefs in honor of Kobe Bryant. He made that announcement yesterday as we get ready for another big NFL weekend. All right, when we come back, trash and more of the Buffalo Wild Wings Pick 3s being brought to you today by our friends at Champy's world famous fried chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. This hour of the show always brought to you by Champy's. Sterling, the crew down there, ready for your dinner tonight on date night. But you're tailgating tomorrow as you come here to Bryant-Denny Stadium. Get that order in. He'll have it ready to go for you to make the drive down here. Hand-cut chicken fingers, Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, and so much more. Champy's Chicken, champy'schicken.com. Back to the rabbit hole in Tuscaloosa after this quick timeout.
Follow the Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
There's only one Champy's world famous fried chicken. Poor boy's tenders, full fried chicken plates, and a little bit of the Mississippi Delta with chicken on a stick and hot tamales. On your way to or from the big game on Highway 119 in Alabaster, stop by Champy's Chicken.
Are you tired of buying your CPAP mask and supplies online only to be disappointed? It's time to visit CPAP Plus, your locally owned and operated CPAP shop that prides itself on personal service. Come see what you're buying at CPAP Plus with 3 convenient locations in Pelham, Highway 280, and now open in Trustful. Drop by for a free CPAP checkup and free filters, no appointment needed. Plus, sign up for their giveaway for a chance to win a free travel CPAP machine. Just Google CPAP Plus or visit any of those 3 locations.
In some places, football is a sport. In Alabama, it's a fine art. New Life Art is proud to announce Daniel A. Moore's upcoming painting, Deuces Wild. This season, Bama is blessed with a pair of very talented deuces. The pair played a huge role on both sides of the ball in the Tide's amazing 41-34 victory over number 2 Georgia. Deuces Wild will portray the unbelievable game-winning 75-yard touchdown catch by deuce number 1, Ryan Williams, late in the 4th quarter. The Dogs' last chance drive was stopped by deuce number 2, Xavier Brown, as he made the game-saving interception in the end zone, which will be celebrated by a small artist's remark in the bottom margin of each print. Go to danielmooreart.com to see the artist's preliminary sketch and take advantage of special pre-publication pricing for Deuces Wild. Also available, The Legend, Daniel Moore's final tribute to Coach Nick Saban. Order now at danielmooreart.com.
From the creators of The Next Round comes 2 new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. 2 team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. Covercrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, And please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late night bites. Only at Twin Peaks.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Alabama. What's that smell? I used to smell it at concerts when I was a kid.
I believe a skunk has died somewhere, Jim.
Just flew through the back fencing, I believe, behind the stage.
Do you smell a dead skunk there, Lance?
Maybe a vape that has a interesting aroma. I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
We get ready for trash in just a second. Brought to you in part today, our show by our friends at HydroLive. LT always tells me anytime that I'm on my way to Vegas, I should go by HydroLive, and that's happening for me next week. So HydroLive may be an appointment I need to make, right?
Oh, yeah, you 100% need to. Or I can have those guys come in studio. Daniel Jones, our quarterback, was here earlier.
QB1.
Him and his wife. Did you guys see him?
I did. I talked to DJ.
He's running around, so maybe we can get him to come by on Monday or Tuesday. But yes, make sure you're properly hydrated. IV therapies, B12 injections, cryotherapy, compression therapy, weight loss therapy, all under one roof. There are 2 locations in Birmingham, the original in Homewood, 1 Highway 119 in Greystone. For more information, you can book your appointment online. Go to hydrolivetherapy.com. Walk-ins are welcome. But if you can't actually make it to one of the locations, guess what? They can send a nurse to your home or business. That simple. hydrolivetherapy.com. Very important. Mention the next round, 20% off all those great services from our friends at HydroLife Therapy.
Early window game for Washington and Indiana. My buddy Damien, who's over here, thanks for coming out, Damien. He wanted us to update everybody on injuries that are out there so you don't make bad bets tomorrow. Remember, Rourke not expected to play for Indiana, right? All he's been is number 1 in the QBR, second in yards passing, and in yards passing per attempt, and top 15 in yards and touchdowns in passing. So that's all pretty good, right?
Yeah, and I think what you're going to see moving forward with how good he has been in this system, there's going to be a lot of, you had a guy like Hugh Freeze that was like, we're going to wait and see. We're going to go with Peyton Thorne. You're going to see a lot of Group 5 quarterbacks that have had success, a lot of big-time programs. And I'm not saying Indiana's a big-time program, big-time conference. They're going to start to go after these guys that have a ton of experience and are super productive.
And another big injury to keep an eye on, Nebraska and Ohio State. I know Raiola was terrible last week, and Nebraska didn't play well at Indiana. But Ohio State will be playing their first game without Josh Simmons, their big everything left tackle. And everyone's projecting that to be a disaster offensive line for Ohio State. I don't know if Nebraska's black shirts can make that interesting. 11 a.m. on Fox tomorrow. Back to our guest.
I was going to bring something up about Nebraska. You guys, we love Matt Rule, but you got to hear this real quick. He has played 23 ranked teams as a head coach.
Okay.
What do you think his record is?
Not going to be great. 23 ranked teams, I'm going to say rule.
And I didn't want to bring this up, but I won't throw the number out. But against teams better than 500 in the NFL, it was
not good either.
But I think if you're 500 against top 25 teams, that's
great.
That's really good.
Yeah. So I'm going to say V the top 25. He is
20,
4 and 19.
23. Okay,
4 and 19.
I refuse to make a guess about my man Matt Rule.
2 and 21.
2 and 21.
At least I gave him double the wins he already had.
And look, it's one thing if you go into Memorial last week and that hyped up stadium and you lose a close game, you can't get walked off the field.
Yeah.
Keep in mind though that he was rebuilding Temple, rebuilt Baylor.
It's been
and
bad
having
spots.
to rebuild Nebraska.
It's been bad spots.
Okay, but and I agree, and I love Matt Rule, and I think we're all big fans. But Matt Rule in year 2 at Nebraska, getting beat by 44 to year 1, Kurt Cignetti at Indiana.
No,
that can't happen.
Shouldn't happen. All right, guest Mike here in the rabbit hole in Tuscaloosa. Man, what you got for us?
I've actually got a question for y'all about the Hoosiers.
Okay.
So after they cover tomorrow versus Washington and cover against Michigan State in 2 weeks, do you think they can go back-to-back to beat Michigan and Ohio State and potentially finish the season undefeated?
I do not.
Michigan's not a concern for me. I worry more about them versus Washington than I do Michigan.
I think they need Curtis Rourke back against Michigan. I don't know how good Jackson is. He looked pretty good last week. Here's one thing I would say. I believe Indiana is really good. They've won every game by double digits, but their current opponents have a combined record of 13 and 23.
They've played the easy part of their schedule is what you're saying in a nice way right there.
But to your point, this is why I'm more concerned about tomorrow's game because there's no Rourke, right? Most everybody takes a step back when you go to QB2, and if he doesn't play, Washington could be a problem for them tomorrow. If Rourke's back against Michigan, Indiana's a better football team.
So I think Cignetti, if you asked him truth serum, like Rourke is, I don't want to call him a game manager, but they've got a system in place, and I think they do have confidence that Taven Jackson, much like he did last week against Nebraska, I think they were up, and correct me if I'm wrong, I was at a random bar in Knoxville before I went into the game. I think they were up 14-7 or 21-7 when he hurt the thumb. And Taven Jackson came in and was really good.
He was fine. Threw for 2 touchdowns. It's not going to blow me away if Indiana drops 4 straight games right here. And I hate to say that. I like Coach Sig, and I know they've been kind of a favorite on the show here.
I would be shocked.
Washington at Michigan State, Michigan at Ohio State. And Michigan State's played a little bit better under Jonathan Smith of late. East Lansing could be a tough place.
Even the guy who doubts Indiana every week, even I think they're better than Michigan State and Michigan.
Well, they may be better. That doesn't mean they're going to win the games. And some of that I'm talking about the Rourke injury, too. I mean, so that factors into that.
I do think there's something with the time zone, though. So we've got Washington playing in the central time zone for the second time over the last 20 years. We saw how that worked out or didn't work out when they got run off the field 40-16 a couple of weeks ago against Iowa, and kind of like tonight. And I heard Greg Schiano talking about Rutgers, and he said if this game comes down to a late possession, he was like, my concern is, like, I want it to be down to a late possession. He was like, but I don't know what kind of decisions I make at 2:30 in the morning, and I don't know what kind of decisions my players make at 2:30 in the morning, and that's their body clock. Like, this game is going to kick at 10 o'clock our time, which means it's going to go past 1 a.m. So there is a chance on that East Piscataway clock that it rolls into the 2 o'clock hour.
Actually, now, this is a very interesting stat. We currently have a Tandex here in Tuscaloosa of 8.5 out of a scale of 10, tanning Tandex.
In October.
It is 88 degrees here. It's also 88 degrees at the Floribama. Proud sponsor of the show today. Same temperature right here as the Floribama right now, 88 degrees.
Where would you rather be?
I like them both, LT.
I like being here.
I like them both.
Things coming after you over there, by the way.
Floribama, by the way. Tell us about them. Pretend they're wanting us to talk about the great music stuff that's going on this weekend at the Floribama.
Look, I mean, you can't not have a great time at the Floribama, but outside of that, like if you're looking for a place to watch games all weekend long, Taylor Korn was down there a couple of weeks ago. And her crew went over to the Old River Grill. It's your waterfront sports bar, 30-plus TVs, draft beer, game day menu. You can pull up the boat or you can drive in by car across from the world-famous Floribama. Old River Grill, one-stop shop for all things game day. For more information, FloriBamaOldRiverGrill.com.
Live mic open here. What do you got, man? Who are you and where are you from?
I'm Matt McMahon. I'm from Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Oh,
worst traffic.
Your traffic is shit. I got caught up in it last week.
That ridge cut's terrible. Yeah.
Right. But what gives on that? Because it's 2 going in, 2 going out. But once you get over or down the mountain, it's still like the traffic is fine.
That Nashville split when you go Chattanooga to Nashville, gets
Y'all got to
backed
do
up,
something
y'all to
about it.
Nashville.
It's awful.
Yeah, nice little town outside of the traffic.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. All right, my question: how many SEC teams do you think will make the playoffs, and do you think Bama will be there?
4
Great
and
question.
yes. 4 and yes.
4 and yes from Brown.
I think
I'm
4
playing
and
to
yes.
the. I'm playing to the
I know
crowd.
you play cake.
Right.
So Georgia, Texas, Alabama, and I am going to say Texas A&M.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't hear Alabama on that list.
Oh, I said Alabama third.
Oh,
yeah, he said
Georgia, Texas, Alabama, A&M.
I said it first, so I'd get a cheer from the crowd.
Boy, he's trying to throw you under the bus, man. I did your Alabama there.
I say it, Jim. Who you got?
Texas, Georgia, Alabama, and the winner of the LSU Texas A&M game. I said it earlier this week, Brownie. I'll say it again if you weren't paying attention. The 3 best teams in the league, and whoever wins the LSU Texas A&M.
You do see the 2 omissions though. Ole Miss, which had the easiest schedule coming into the season. That's a disaster for the Rebels. I agree.
Yeah.
And then the other team is Tennessee that just beat Alabama that thinks they're in the driver's seat.
Right.
Tennessee's going to lose to Georgia.
I would agree with that.
And I don't know. Then it gets tricky because if you've got a 10-2 Bama and a 10-2 Tennessee, obviously Tennessee won the head-to-head.
All I know is if Alabama beats LSU, they're in.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Assuming they beat Missouri, and you know what I'm saying.
All right. It's time for trash. We do it every day. Tyler's got it queued up. It's brought to you by Mortgage Right. Away from sports to weird things happening in the world. Hit it, T.
Father of 2, Dale Decker, suffers from a rare and seemingly incurable condition that leads to him suffering up to 100 unwanted orgasms a day.
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
And we are proud to partner with the mortgage experts. Look, there is no cost or obligation to inquire. Whether you're buying your first home or your final home, go to mortgageright.com/TNR. Call 205-970-200, NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender. We are literally less than a month away from Thanksgiving, which is crazy.
That's insane to think about.
I know.
We haven't got to Halloween yet, Lance.
It is. I heard somebody the other day, I think it might have been our man Tim Melton, talking about he doesn't like Thanksgiving food. Which
Melton doesn't like Thanksgiving food?
That's blasphemy.
I'm stunned at that.
But according to this, why cook a full Thanksgiving spread when you can have a taste of all of your turkey faves in one bite? DiGiorno,
the pizza
for yet
company,
another year, is selling its famous Thanksgiving pizza with all the fixings: green beans, gravy, cheese, onions, cranberries, and of course, turkey atop the Detroit-style pizza crust. Now, the $10 frozen pie, you can't get anything for $10 now.
Nope, not a thing.
It's going to be available exclusively at Kroger stores through the end of November, so our man Peyton Thorne can pick one up, right?
He's got his Kroger card.
In 2023, DiGiorno debuted the limited edition pizza, igniting controversy online about appropriate toppings as the Turkey Day spread seemed to become a little more contentious than pineapple. Now, on the Today Show, Hoda, and now I didn't realize the fill-in for Kathy Lee Gifford is now Jenna Bush Hager.
That's right.
She taste tested the concoction
6 years now, I think.
Yeah, but I think
I didn't know that.
I think the old girl Hoda's leaving though.
She
I
is.
Think, is
yeah.
she now?
I think so, yeah.
They tried the concoction live on air as a weary Hager said, quote, "Not sure that Thanksgiving and pizza need to come together."
I tell you, I'm looking at the photo Tyler has of this. It does not look awful. And I'll tell you, it's got cranberries, like dried cranberries on it. There's a pizza my wife buys from a supermarket that is frozen that has dried cranberries on it, and it's actually a very good pizza.
Okay.
I like it. There's
I'd take a bite.
When I was in San Francisco and then again in Sedona, I had some pizzas that had big sort of a fig jam like on it.
Yeah.
With some goat cheese. It was delicious.
Okay. That's Phil Mickelson's nickname, Fig Jam.
So this morning,
You know that?
I did not.
I was paying attention. I had a couple of TVs on, and one of them was on SportsCenter. And I don't know who she's probably like late 30s, early 40s. She likes to wear the knee-high boots. She's got kind of a dirty blonde hair. But for whatever reason, they were talking about Uncrustables, and she said she had never had one, which blows me away.
Well, I don't know how you've gone through life this long and not had an Uncrustable.
I don't understand it. But move over. Andy Warhol's paintings of Campbell's soup cans. A painting of an Uncrustable sandwich is the latest piece of art inspired by food. Tallahassee artist Noah Werner inspired by a box of Uncrustables PB&J sandwiches he bought at Publix. New York Times said that after unwrapping the snack, sunlight highlighted a drop of strawberry jelly, and he was inspired to capture the moment in oil paint.
That is pretty.
2 days of painting, Verrier has masterpiece put up for auction, selling it online for $4,999 over the weekend. The childhood lunchbox staple isn't the first food-inspired artistic creation that he has painted. He has also brushed cheesecakes, sodas, dinosaur-shaped chicken nuggets onto canvas, usually eating the food before he captures it for the ages. Now, one of the bidders on eBay was Ryan Morgan, a political consultant in Arlington, Virginia, who told the Times, quote, "I think this is a rare painting that both me and my 2-year-old can appreciate." But Morgan, despite bidding $4,050, did not win. Unidentified bidder paid nearly $5,000, or the cost of 525 boxes of Uncrustables at Walmart. Last time you guys had an Uncrustable?
It's been very recent. My little one likes to keep them at the house. She keeps them in the freezer because she puts it in her lunchbox, takes it to school, and it thaws, while she's in class, and then it's perfect. So that makes it a little complicated when you get it out of the freezer. It's kind of mushy, or not mushy, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I have them usually in the middle of the late window every Saturday night.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, I had one this week because I had the boys. I had Jack, Jace, and Ryan house sit last weekend when we were in Knoxville. And when I got home Monday morning, I was about to pour a bowl of cereal, getting ready for the show, and there was no milk.
Oh,
so I had to pour the cereal back into the box, and I looked in the fridge, and the only thing there was a peanut butter and jelly strawberry Uncrustable, which was my breakfast.
Which is the best. Strawberry's the best.
It is.
I started eating them again when we were down at that music festival with Todd Fuhrman, and I ran to the store real quick, and Maddie was very happy when she got out of the shower, and we were sitting there with unbelievable Uncrustables.
Subtle. Aaron Suttle's here for Bama and Bourbon with a important piece of information. Uncrustables are the most eaten food at halftime of any football game. Every locker room has Uncrustables.
Yeah, not just the SEC, and that was what they were talking about at SportsCenter. I think was all NFL teams have Uncrustables available.
Yeah,
instant energy.
Yeah.
When we did the we saw that when we did the A-Day games as the coaches back in the day, the snack bars that they have up ready to go at halftime works out really good.
Pizza number 40 was long one of the best-selling dishes at a restaurant in the German city of Dusseldorf until police discovered the secret ingredient in that pizza was a side of cocaine.
Oh, it's very addictive pizza.
When you think of Dusseldorf, what do you think of?
I think of Germany, I guess.
Phineas and Ferb for me.
Really?
Yeah, I thought the evil guy was from, his last name was Dusseldorf.
His last name is Doofenshmirtz.
Yeah, see, that's close.
Now,
no, Tyler.
Authorities say uncovering the illicit narcotics delivery scheme allowed them to smash an organized crime ring in Germany's most populous state. About 150 officers, including from elite units, last week searched 16 properties in 9 cities, arrested 3 suspects, and seized a cache of weapons. Inspector Michael Graf von Moltke said police had seen the pizzeria in a popular party district of the city, had it in their sights since March. When a routine food inspection uncovered the drug in the kitchen, narcotics investigators put the business under surveillance and noticed that pizza number 40 was a customer favorite. Quote, it was one of the most sold pizzas. Packet of cocaine was placed under each pie. That was new to us, and it surprised us because the owner had never been accused of drug crimes. Now, the pizzeria's advertising slogan was, quote, we deliver everything home to you. It was not immediately clear what the business charged for the number 40 or what the toppings were. Quote, even if we knew, we wouldn't release it, a police spokesperson said. Here's what I would ask. What if you ordered the 40 and you didn't know what was coming?
That's right. Now I got a pack of cocaine in my house.
I didn't know it was coming.
I didn't know I was going to have cocaine. I just wanted a little pepperoni.
I've got a friend that occasionally gets things shipped from, legal states.
Yeah.
And that's always their plan is if it shows up. I didn't send this to myself.
I don't know who sent this.
Yes.
I don't know why they picked my name and address.
When officers arrived to question the 36-year-old shop owner, the Croatian national allegedly threw a bag stuffed with drugs out the window. And according to police, it fell right into the arms of an officer. Officers confiscated 1.6 kilograms of cocaine, 400 grams of cannabis, and nearly $300 in cash, as well as expensive watches, a handgun, an axe, and a long-bladed knife believed to be part of the gang's arsenal.
Well, if they got an axe, I don't know what else was in the pizza. Wow. Does that worry you a little bit?
Probably.
I got to get rid of that body somehow.
And finally, Crocs has sold out its new line of boots for pets released on Wednesday as part of Croctober and already no longer available. Now, the shoe brand releases a fan-inspired product each October, and this year it was all about man's best friend. Crocs dumped the smaller boots for pets, all with matching clogs for their human companions as part of Croc Day on Wednesday, October 23rd. The doggy boots, which come in green and pink in 3 sizes, sold out online before the work day was over. Now, I have, back in the day, had Ladybird some pink Crocs just because her paw pads, if you're walking in the summer on concrete, it will burn them.
Burn the crap out of them, right?
Really bad, yeah.
Now, the comfy foam boots for dogs sold for $50 came in marbled green or pink that matched similar pairs for humans so owners and dogs could dress alike. That's all I got.
And that is Trash Today, brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right.
They are the best in the business. No cost or obligation to check in to find out what you might qualify. If you're looking for your first home or your final home, let our friends at Mortgage Right help you out. MortgageRight.com or 205-900-7200, NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
We'll get back to the Buffalo Wild Wings pick 3 in just a second and give you our 3 picks coming up as well. Don't forget, Monday night, we're in Huntsville for Bama basketball. Alabama basketball taking on Memphis at the Von Braun Center. You can see that streaming at ESPN Plus, the SEC Network Plus, and maybe you can get tickets from our friends at ATIX on the secondary market. Always a sold-out event at Von Braun for Bama basketball in town against Memphis. CoverCrimson.com for basketball and football coverage year-round. For Auburn fans, thebarnauburn.com, thebarnauburn.com for that. And don't forget, friends at Bud Light here all afternoon. We got a Bama and Bourbon coming up after our show at 3:30. Aaron Suttles is on site. He and LT will be talking more about Alabama and Missouri specifically happening this weekend and the aftermath of the loss at Tennessee and where this Alabama team goes next. Sean Alexander was part of DeBoer's lunchtime meeting with Bama boosters, the fine folks at the Red Elephant Club today. And also special guest Nate Oates was there with Kalen DeBoer and Sean Alexander today. So it's been part of the festivities here on this homecoming weekend in Tuscaloosa. We're at the Rabbit Hole live for a few more moments, and we're brought to you by our friends at Bud Light and Adams Beverage as well. Bud Light, just an easy drink to enjoy, and all throughout football season. And a lot of our friends have been doing that here today. Another couple of picnic tables full of them.
Yeah, I want to remind everybody out here and viewing that we're about to go live with Bama and Bourbon, as you said. So make sure you hang out for that. But just great specials all day long. I didn't think the Georgia-Alabama day before could be topped on the Bud Light aluminum bottles.
I think we're there.
I think it's right there.
Yeah.
But great swag and merch. Come out, spin the wheel. Bud Light's going to be hanging out for the next hour or so, but drink specials all weekend long right here on the Strip at the Rabbit Hole.
3:30 for Bama and Bourbon, right? That's the target time, 3:30. Okay.
3:30, and you'll get a new link and set your alerts on all of our platforms, including the Next Round platform and Cover Crimson, to get Bama and Bourbon coming up. All right, it's time for our picks. Before we hit the song, Forster, can you put up the standings of the pick 3? And it's not very good.
It is not.
As we go in, but I still have the lead.
I really should start preparing for this segment.
Yeah. Do you even have your picks ready?
I do.
2-game lead going into this pick 3. Hit the song for us, Tyler. It's brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings.
Pick 3, it's time for the pick 3. 3 for you and 3 for me, that equals a pick 3. Say goodbye to your family, it's time for the pick 3. Only time that I'm happy is when it's time for pick 3.
Hey, and it is always brought to you by our friends at Buffalo Wild Wings. Stop into one of those great locations all weekend long, 12 Central Alabama locations. Wall-to-wall TVs, best sports bar in Birmingham for 20 years plus. From the great wings with all the incredible sauces to burgers, sandwiches, and much more. For Saturday action, for NFL Sunday tickets, stop into one of those locations of Buffalo Wild Wings.
All right. Brownie, start us off, man. Who do you got?
I'm dead last, so I will make my plays here. Louisville is not available because it's a Friday night game, so no Louisville. I am going to take Washington on the road at Indiana. It ends for the Hoosiers. Washington wins this game outright. Washington plus 5.5 on the road at Indiana, playing against a banged-up quarterback there. I also like Texas Tech at TCU. Scott wouldn't flip it around and make it his play. I'll make it mine. Texas Tech plus the 6.5 against TCU. They win it outright. And give me Texas A&M plus the 1.5, or excuse me, minus the 1.5 at home against LSU. Texas Tech Texas A&M, and the Huskies of Washington.
Oh, wait a second. I was supposed to write these down. Say that again.
Washington. What were you doing over there with Texas Tech?
I was daydreaming. What was the Washington point spread?
Oh, my God. The Washington point spread, Jim, is 5.5.
Plus 5.5. Okay.
Texas Tech plus 6.5 on the road at Texas TCU. And then Texas A&M minus 1.5 at home against LSU. Technically, I should make that -0.5 in my favor.
No. My bookie, I just checked my bookie.
Is it one?
It's 2.5.
So no, there's no way. I'm looking at it right here.
I just
Jim.
looked at my
sorry,
bookie.
Jim. I'm looking at it right here.
Okay, it was 2.5 on our. It's the way we were playing it at.
Okay, yeah. Well,
the lines were put out
Albert
earlier
did
this
it.
week. Yeah.
So I think somebody flew in from Okinawa last night to Las Vegas, and they looked up at the board and they're like, "Oh
What'd
my
they say?
God, BYU is number 11. They're 7-0. They're playing Central Florida, and they're catching 2.5.
That doesn't
What's
make sense.
going on
Doesn't
here?
make sense.
R.J. Harvey, Brown, both running the football against a team that got gashed last Friday night. Should have lost to Oklahoma State. I like Central Florida minus 2.5. Alabama hosting Missouri. I think Alabama breaks out in a big way. I'm laying the 16.5. Big Milroe game here.
Playing to the crowd.
Not playing to the crowd. You know I don't do that, Brown. And then prime time, laying 6.5 against Cincinnati. Cincinnati has 2 losses this year. They blew one 26-7.
He likes it.
Earlier this year, they missed a field goal to tie the game to go to overtime. Cincinnati plus 6.5. So UCF minus 2.5, Bama minus 16.5, Cincinnati plus 6.5. Those are my 3.
For me, I'm on the opposite side of everyone with LSU and Texas A&M. I'm taking the points. I'm taking LSU to win the game outright in College Station.
We like that.
Give me LSU plus the 2.5 is the way we were playing it at nextroundlive.com, nextroundlive.com. Auburn and Kentucky and Lexington. I'm riding with the road team here as well. Auburn and they're all whites. Give me the Auburn Tigers plus the 2.5 at Kentucky.
Reversing.
I don't know. I mean, he keeps picking Auburn, and they keep losing.
They keep losing.
Wait a second.
Losing.
Tiger,
Tiger,
LSU,
Tiger,
Auburn.
Uh-huh.
Missouri Tigers in to play Alabama tomorrow. 16.5 is a lot of points. MIZ, they're not here anymore. Give me Alabama minus 16.5. I'll take Alabama.
Who's playing to the crowd now?
I'm the leader. And that's our pick 3 today, brought to you by our friends at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah, again, stopping at one of those great locations all weekend long. Buffalo Wild Wings throughout Central Alabama, wall-to-wall TVs, fantastic food. Birmingham's #1 sports bar for the last 20 years. It's Buffalo Wild Wings.
And thank you to Bud Light and Rabbit Hole for having us. That's our show today. The Bama and Bourbon live editions coming up momentarily on this same platform. Stay around for that and hang out here at the Rabbit Hole and enjoy this great weather. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.